Chapter 302. Hum. The sky-devouring sword buzzed and vibrated, emitting a sharp light. It seemed to have sensed Su Yangqing's powerful aura and was beginning to recover. Ling Xiao stood in the void, his eyes filled with battle intent. With a flash of light in his hand, the sky-devouring sword appeared in his palm. The sky-devouring sword was simple in design, with mysterious patterns circling around it. It seemed to be engraved with the shadows of the sun, moon, and stars. It was a vast world. With the sky-devouring sword in his hand, Ling Xiao felt as if he was connected to it by blood. He felt as if he had the power to destroy the universe. For elephant's sky-striking style. Ling Xiao spat out these words. His eyes were extremely sharp in an instant, and the sky-devouring sword slashed towards Su Yangqing. You're courting death. The killing intent in Su Yangqing's eyes was almost tangible. He did not expect that Ling Xiao would dare to attack him. In his eyes, Ling Xiao was just an ant in the Grandmaster realm. He could kill him with a flip of his hand. On the contrary, the ancient sword in Ling Xiao's hand made him feel a little threatened. Boom! Su Yangqing's palm was thick and majestic. It was like a raging sea that came crashing down on Ling Xiao, dispersing the dazzling sword radiance in the sky. The divine light of the four elephants turned into four dazzling sword radiances that crossed the void. They collided with Su Yangqing's palm and were annihilated at the same time. Su Yangqing's palm also landed on the sky-devouring sword. Suddenly, a huge force was felt. Ling Xiao felt as if he was being suppressed by thousands of sacred mountains. The terrifying force sent him flying dozens of feet away. Cough, cough, Ling Xiao's face was pale and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. However, his eyes were extremely bright. Was this the power of a half-step to the noble plane? It was indeed terrifying. Even if Ling Xiao used the 7 limits divine art of devouring heaven and earth, he was still defeated by Su Yangqing with a single palm strike. He even suffered serious injuries. A noble plane expert could control the will of heaven and earth. When he attacked, it was extremely terrifying. Although Ling Xiao's physical body was strong, it was not strong enough to go against the will of heaven and earth. Roar! When the long-armed ape king saw Ling Xiao being attacked by Su Yangqing, a ferocious light flashed in his eyes. He pounded his chest with his huge fist, and the blood qi around him surged to the heavens. He leaped hundreds of feet into the air and threw a punch at Su Yangqing. Bastard, you're also courting death. Su Yangqing's gaze turned cold as he slammed down with his palm. Torrential heaven and earth energy gushed out endlessly, as though the heavens and earth had been flipped upside down. The great void palm slammed onto the ape king's body, sending him flying hundreds of feet away. Although the long-armed ape king had already reached the peak of the 6th rank, it was impossible for a demonic beast to control the will of heaven and earth like a human being before reaching the 7th rank demonic king realm. However, the long-armed ape king's skin was thick and tough. After being sent flying by Su Yangqing's palm strike, he did not suffer any injuries. Suddenly, he stomped his feet, causing the ground to rumble and crack. He gathered strength under his feet and shot up into the sky. Rumble! Su Yangqing's eyes were cold as he slammed his palm down again, sending the long-armed ape king flying. Then, his gaze landed on Ling Xiao, his killing intent blazing. Ling Xiao, you can go to hell now. Su Yangqing's foot landed, causing the void to rumble. In an instant, he had traversed thousands of feet and was heading towards Ling Xiao. Cold killing intent filled the air as the surrounding clouds surged. It was as though the heavens and earth were enraged. Are you that sure? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a hint of madness. The sky-devouring sword in his hand started to glow. At the same time, a mysterious and abstruse aura filled the air, heading towards the ground. At this moment, Su Yangqing's expression changed slightly. He could feel a fatal threat from Ling Xiao. How is this possible? Su Yangqing's heart trembled. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Ling Xiao was 2 whole realms away from him. How could he feel a fatal threat from Ling Xiao? However, his intuition told him that if he were to attack Ling Xiao, he would be met with an earth-shattering attack from Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao and Su Yangqing's aura surged as they began to confront each other in the void. A mysterious aura filled the air. The silent pressure caused the faces of the crowd below to turn pale. They felt as though they were about to suffocate. This little bastard. How is this possible? He Qing's eyes were filled with shock and anger. One had to know that even he couldn't withstand Su Yangqing's attack. However, Ling Xiao managed to do so. Didn't this mean that if Ling Xiao fought with him, He Qing would probably die in Ling Xiao's hands? He Qing felt as though he was in a dream. The young man that he didn't take seriously had grown to such a realm in such a short time. At this moment, above the palace in the distance, 3 dazzling beams of divine light suddenly shot up into the sky. Rumble. It was as though 3 thunderbolts had exploded. The sky was filled with multicolored light and golden lotuses appeared in the void. Furthermore, a vast will of heaven and earth descended, forming 3 mysterious figures in the void. That's the Great Baron King, the Imperial Advisor, and Chunyang's spiritual master. Could it be? Someone's eyes widened as they thought of a possibility. Although the 3 figures in the void looked blurry, they were indeed Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Chunyang's spiritual master. The will of heaven and earth has descended and they have broken through to the noble realm. Su Yangqing's body shook as well. His eyes were filled with shock as he stared at the void in the distance. No, they have only gathered the will of heaven and earth but not the martial path primordial spirit. They are only at the half-step noble realm. Su Yangqing was slightly relieved when he saw that the 3 figures in the void were not solid. They were the embryonic forms of the martial path primordial spirits and had yet to be fully formed. Even so, the fact that 3 half-step noble realm experts had appeared in the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom was shocking enough. After all, half-step noble realm experts were highly respected even in the martial path sanctums. They were second only to the Master of the Sanctums and the Grand Supreme Elder. Brother Su, Ling Xiao is from the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. Aren't you disrespecting the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom and the Sun Moon Star sect by attacking him in public? A deep and majestic voice resounded in the void. Boom! 3 mysterious auras shot up into the sky as 3 mysterious figures flew out from the imperial city. Each of them was shrouded in dazzling light as they flew across the sky, exuding a vast and unparalleled power. Xia Huang was wearing a black dragon robe, a flat crown on his head, and a pair of cloud-treading boots. His eyes were majestic and he had a majestic aura. Ling Juechen, on the other hand, was wearing a white robe that was unique and unrestrained. He looked otherworldly and mysterious. Chunyang's spiritual master still had white hair and a white beard. He looked sage-like and held a horsetail whisk in his hand. His eyes seemed to contain mysterious starlight, making him look wise and wise. The 3 of them came together as if they were stepping on a divine rainbow. They instantly arrived before Su Yangqing. Chapter 303. When Ling Xiao saw Xia Huang and the other 2, his eyes flashed. The sky-devouring sword in his hand slowly withdrew its sharpness and the aura that had merged with the ground slowly dissipated as well. The fatal threat had disappeared. Su Yangqing looked at Ling Xiao in confusion but did not say anything. Instead, he looked at Xia Huang and the other 2. Rumor has it that the 3 of you have secluded yourselves in order to break through to the noble plane and have turned into skeletons. I didn't expect this small Tahuang ancient country to have so many talents. Su Yangqing said indifferently. He then looked at Xia Huang and said, Ling Xiao killed our people and must pay with his life. Are you going to stop me? While his expression was calm, his heart was in turmoil. Because the kings of the 4 ancient nations relied too much on the draconic qi, there had been almost no one who had broken through to the noble plane in the past few thousand years. The 9th level of the celestial realm was the limit. But now, Xia Huang had actually broken this legendary curse. How could he not be shocked? Moreover, the three people in front of him had all just broken through to the noble plane. Zhu Chen had a natural aura and Chunyang's spiritual master's aura was obscure. Only Xia Huang made Su Yangqing feel a strong threat. Brother Su, you were the one who suggested the life and death duel between Ling Xiao and the Wanshou sect. Ling Xiao also agreed. What? You killed the young one and the old one jumped out without a care. Ling Juechen sneered, not giving Su Yangqing any face. Xia Huang also said slowly, Brother Su, since the life and death duel is over, why don't we just let it go? Isn't it too much for you to attack Ling Xiao with your status? Pure Yang's spiritual master did not say anything. He looked like he was smiling, but it seemed like he wanted to help Ling Xiao. Su Yangqing's face darkened and a trace of anger appeared in his eyes. He did not expect the three of them to be so determined to side with Ling Xiao. If there was only one of them who was a half-step to the noble plane, he might be able to fight. However, although the three of them had just broken through to the noble plane, Su Yangqing was no match for them if they attacked together. So what if it's a life and death duel? Since Ling Xiao dared to kill the Tiger King, he must be prepared to die. The dignity of the Wanshou sect cannot be disrespected. Are you sure you want to become enemies with my Wanshou sect? Su Yangqing looked at Xia Huang and the other two and said in a cold voice. Xia Huang furrowed his brows and said, Fellow cultivator Su, we won't go against the Wanshou sect. However, Ling Xiao is a member of my Grand Desolation Ancient Kingdom. Moreover, he is the descendant of an old friend of ours. Therefore, we cannot sit idly by and watch you kill him. The Pure Yang spiritual master also smiled and said, Fellow Taoist Su, perhaps you still don't know who Ling Xiao's master is. If you knew, I'm afraid you wouldn't keep saying that you want to kill him. He has a master. Su Yangqing was slightly taken aback, but he immediately understood. With such monstrous talent and peerless martial arts, Su Yangqing would never believe that there was no inheritance. Naturally, his master is that muddle-headed old man. Perhaps you've heard of his name. Sage Pure Yang said with a smile. What? Su Yangqing's body trembled, and his eyes revealed an extremely shocked expression. Impossible. How could he possibly accept Ling Xiao as his disciple? Su Yangqing's voice contained a hint of trembling. As soon as he heard the words, muddle-headed old man, he immediately shuddered. This was because many people in the four great ancient kingdoms might not have heard of the muddle-headed old man's name. However, in the 5 great martial arts holy lands, the muddle-headed old man's name was like thunder to one's ears. It was said that he dressed very sloppily, liked to drink and eat, and was extremely skilled in alchemy. He had already reached the legendary level of an alchemy grandmaster. It was said that he had already become an alchemy grandmaster 1,000 years ago. Today, even the leaders of the 5 great martial arts holy lands had to respectfully greet him. It was said that he was the strongest alchemy grandmaster in the entire 8 Desolation region, and he was also the number 1 person in the 8 Desolation region. Such a person was already a legend. At least, when Su Yangqing was young, he had already heard of the legend of the muddle-headed old man. Why is it impossible? I'm afraid you still don't know that Ling Xiao is not only talented in martial arts, but his talent in alchemy is even more terrifying. Now, he is already an upper-grade alchemy grandmaster. Otherwise, how could the muddle-headed old man have taken a fancy to him? Ling Juechen said with a faint smile. Upper-grade alchemy grandmaster. This title also scared Su Yangqing into a daze. He looked at Ling Xiao as if he had seen a ghost. This young man looked to be no more than 16 years old. His face was very delicate, and his smile was very bright. However, he had unparalleled battle strength. Moreover, he was actually an upper-grade alchemy grandmaster. In the entire 8 Desolation region, the most talented alchemy grandmaster was Zhao Ritian of the Sun Moon Star sect. However, he only broke through to the middle-grade alchemy grandmaster when he was in his 20s. A 16-year-old upper-grade alchemy grandmaster was simply unheard of. I'm sure you know Ling Xiao's background very well. The longevity sect he belongs to is just a mediocre sect. However, he was able to undergo such a terrifying transformation in such a short time. In the entire 8 Desolation region, I'm afraid that other than that muddle-headed old man, no one else can do it, right? So, fellow Su, I hope that you can let Ling Xiao go. It can be considered as giving face to that muddle-headed old man. Spiritual Master Chun Yang said with a faint smile. Su Yangqing's face immediately darkened. His gaze towards Ling Xiao was filled with killing intent, but more than that, it was filled with fear and unwillingness. In his heart, he still believed Ling Juechen and Spiritual Master Chun Yang's words. After all, the miracle that happened to Ling Xiao could only be done by that legendary muddle-headed old man. However, the Wan Shou sect had already offended Ling Xiao. Would Ling Xiao be willing to let the Wan Shou sect off just like that? If this young man grew up, he would definitely be a disaster for the Wan Shou sect. However, he did not dare to make a move against Ling Xiao. This matter was no longer something he could decide. Su Yangqing had to report to the sect leader and the supreme elders of the Wan Shou sect as soon as possible so that they could make a decision. Fellow Su, let's end today's matter here. A battle of life and death has always been very fair. It is not considered an insult to the Wan Shou sect's dignity. Xia Huang looked at Su Yangqing and said calmly. Seeing that Xia Huang had given him a way out, Su Yangqing snorted coldly and said, since that is the case, I will give face to the 3 of you. Ling Xiao, I hope that you will take care of yourself in the future. Su Yangqing looked at Ling Xiao and said coldly. You don't have to worry about that. As long as the Wan Shou sect doesn't provoke me, nothing will happen. However, if the Wan Shou sect doesn't know their place, don't blame me for starting a massacre. Chapter 304. Humph, let's go. Su Yangqing swung his sleeves. He felt that if he stayed any longer, he would be angered to death by Ling Xiao. With an ashen face, he wanted to leave with He Qing and the rest. Swoosh! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he saw a disciple of the Wan Shou sect reaching for the Tiger Soul Divine Saber. Instantly, he shot out a stream of genuine qi from his hand and snatched the Tiger Soul Divine Saber along with the Tiger King's storage ring. Ling Xiao, the Tiger Soul Divine Saber belongs to the Wan Shou sect. Su Yangqing's eyes darkened as he gritted his teeth. It belongs to the Wan Shou sect. How come I don't know about it? I only know that it's my spoils of war. It's good enough that I'm willing to return the Tiger King's body to you. This Tiger Soul Divine Saber is pretty good and sharp. It can be used as a chopper. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with mockery as if he did not see the anger in the Wan Shou sect's eyes. He kept the Tiger Soul Divine Saber and the storage ring. Good, very good. Su Yangqing glared at Ling Xiao with a burning killing intent in his eyes before he turned and left. Although He Qing was also very unwilling and wanted to avenge his son, he had no other choice since Su Yangqing had already compromised. He could only glare fiercely at Su Yangqing and leave unwillingly. After the people of the Wan Shou sect left, Xia Huang stood in the air and exuded a majestic aura as he looked down at the Green Dragon army. Many of the Green Dragon army were terrified. The great Baron King was still alive and had broken through to the half-step to the noble realm. Did this mean that the 9th prince had failed completely? Treason was a serious crime that could implicate 9 generations of the family. Clang! Someone's weapon fell to the ground and someone immediately knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Xia Huang. The situation was hopeless and the Green Dragon army all knelt down to Xia Huang. Their eyes were filled with anxiety as they begged for mercy. You have all been deceived by evil people. You should have all 9 generations of the family executed. However, in consideration of your outstanding military exploits for my great desolation ancient country, I will spare your lives and allow you to atone for your crimes by performing meritorious deeds. As long as the main culprit of this rebellion is eliminated, this king will pardon your crimes. Are you all willing? Xia Huang's deep voice rang out, like the rumbling of thunder, vast and mighty. Thank you Sovereign King for your kindness, we are willing to redeem ourselves. Long live the sovereign king, long live 10,000 years. The eyes of the Green Dragon Army's soldiers were filled with joy, and they all shouted excitedly, their voices shaking the heavens. Inside the Demon King's mansion, the traitorous Ling family clansmen all had terrified expressions in their eyes. Because the warriors of the Huban camp had already surrounded them. Their eyes were cold and filled with killing intent. It was precisely because of the betrayal of these Ling family clansmen that more than half of the royal army and Huban camp had been killed. Therefore, many of the soldiers were furious. Your Highness, please spare me. We were also blinded by Ling Yunxiang. We are willing to atone for our sins by performing meritorious deeds. Your Highness, please spare our lives. Your Highness, since we are of the same clan, please spare us. One by one, the Ling family clansmen all knelt down and begged Ling Xiao. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. Xia Huang had already pardoned the Green Flood Dragon Army, so Ling Xiao would probably spare them as well, right? The royal army and Huban camp soldiers were also looking at Ling Xiao, waiting for his decision. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. I have already given you a chance, but you gave it up yourselves. Do you still have the face to call yourselves Ling family clansmen? Ling Xiao's voice was very cold, causing the expressions of the Ling family clansmen to change drastically. Their eyes revealed a trace of fear. Huban camp, listen to my orders. Kill all the Ling family clansmen who participated in the rebellion, don't leave a single one alive. Ling Xiao's eyes instantly became incomparably cold as he said coldly. Yes. Many of the Huban camp's soldiers responded loudly, looking at Ling Xiao with deep gratitude. They knew that Ling Xiao was giving them a chance to take revenge. Kill! Suddenly, the Huban camp's soldiers roared and raised the battle sabers in their hands. Their bodies were filled with murderous intent, and they suddenly slashed down. Puchi! Blood splattered and dyed the ground red. One by one, the Ling family clansmen's heads fell to the ground, their eyes filled with disbelief. They couldn't believe that Ling Xiao actually killed all the Ling family clansmen. However, the bloody reality in front of them told them that even the Ling family clansmen would die without a doubt. Occasionally, there would be one or two Ling family clansmen with strong cultivation who tried to escape, but in the end, they were all chopped to death. Only a few dozen Ling family clansmen who didn't participate in the rebellion survived. However, when they saw the blood and corpses on the ground, their faces were incomparably pale. Their eyes were filled with reverence as they looked at Ling Xiao. They had never thought that the young man with a bright smile who looked so delicate and pretty would actually have such a decisive side to him. Even Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Pure Sun's spiritual master's eyes revealed a trace of brilliance when they saw Ling Xiao's performance. This youth, regardless of whether it was talent or temperament, was the best choice. If he didn't fall in the future, he might really be able to ascend to the legendary Supreme Sovereign position. Green Dragon Army, listen to my orders. Suppress the rebels with me. Xia Huang's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness as he looked at a magnificent palace in the distance. That was the place where the ninth prince, Xia Yunran, was preparing to ascend to the throne. Yes. The Green Dragon Army roared in response. They picked up their weapons and emitted a powerful killing intent. Their eyes flashed as they followed Xia Huang towards the palace. Heavenly Emperor Palace. Xia Yunran was wearing a golden dragon robe and a crown on his head. He paced around the palace with a look of panic in his eyes. Where did Mr. Mo go? You bastards, hurry up and find Mr. Mo for me. Xia Yunran's face was very malevolent. He was about to go crazy. Many things in the palace were smashed by him. Many palace maids and guards were silent as cicadas in winter. They crawled on the ground and trembled all over. Xia Yunran's eyes revealed a trace of fear. The terrifying aura of Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Pure Sun's spiritual master when they came out of seclusion had enveloped the entire royal capital. It had also awakened Xia Yunran, who was still in a dream. Xia Huang actually came out of seclusion. Didn't Mr. Mo tell him that Xia Huang was definitely going to die? Why was Xia Huang still alive? And he had broken through to the half-step noble realm? This was like a bolt of lightning that struck Xia Yunran. He lost the ability to think and was only left with fear. Xia Yunran was jealous of the first prince, Xia Yunjie. Moreover, he was unwilling to accept this. He believed that whether it was his dancing talent or his ability to rule the country, he was much stronger than Xia Yunjie. But why did Xia Huang favor Xia Yunjie so much and even let Xia Yunjie supervise the country so many times? Chapter 305. After Xia Yunran met Mr. Mo, Mr. Mo had plotted for him many times. Mr. Mo had shown his unfathomable methods and made his power grow bigger and bigger. He almost controlled all the civil and military officials in the imperial court and even took over the military power. This allowed his ambition to expand endlessly. Therefore, when Mr. Mo told him that Xia Huang was in seclusion to break through to the noble realm and would definitely die, he colluded with Qin Weishan to start a rebellion and kill Xia Yunjie before he could react. Everything was going according to plan and he was just waiting for the time to ascend the throne. However, Xia Huang actually came out of seclusion. Xia Yunran immediately panicked. He frantically searched for Mr. Mo and found that Mr. Mo had disappeared. Only now did Xia Yunran faintly feel that perhaps he had really fallen into a conspiracy. He, who had always wanted to become the king of the wilderness, was only a pawn in Mr. Mo's hands. At this moment, the doors of the Heavenly Emperor Palace opened. Qin Weishan walked in with a few Green Dragon Army soldiers with a serious expression. "How is it? General Qin, did you find Mr. Mo?" Seeing Qin Weishan, Xia Yunran's eyes lit up. He quickly walked up and grabbed Qin Weishan's arm. "Found him." Someone saw Mr. Mo enter the Imperial Mausoleum in the back mountain. Qin Weishan said slowly with a cold glint in his eyes. "What? Imperial Mausoleum in the back mountain?" Hearing this, Xia Yunran's expression changed. The Imperial Mausoleum in the back mountain was where the dragon vein of the wilderness was located. It was usually guarded by the Xia family elders. How could Mr. Mo enter the Imperial Mausoleum? Also, why did he go to the Imperial Mausoleum? Qin Weishan said slowly, "Your Highness, perhaps we were all fooled by Mr. Mo. His real goal was not to help you ascend the throne but to use your rebellion to divert everyone's attention. His goal was the Imperial Mausoleum in the back mountain." Qin Weishan's expression was also very ugly. A sharp glint of blade radiated from his body and his eyes were filled with fear. He knew that Xia Huang had already come out of seclusion. He and Xia Yunran were definitely going to die. There was no chance of pardon for the crime of treason. Imperial Mausoleum in the back mountain? The elders of my Xia family allowed him to enter? Xia Yunran's eyes were filled with disbelief. "Your Highness, I'm afraid you don't know this, but the 9 celestial elders of the Xia family are all dead." Qin Weishan smiled bitterly. "What? Wasn't Mr. Mo only at the Grandmaster realm?" "Ha ha ha. So everything was fake, it was all fake." Xia Yunran was about to go crazy. He laughed out loud and his eyes were filled with madness. "Your Highness, please think of something. I'm afraid His Majesty will be here soon. We can't just wait to be captured, can we?" Qin Weishan's eyes revealed a trace of anxiety as he urged. Xia Yunran's eyes were cold and his laughter stopped abruptly. He coldly said, "We're going to the Imperial Mausoleum in the back mountain. I want to see what Mr. Mo wants to do. He dares to lie to me, Xia Yunran. He really deserves to die." Xia Yunran flung his sleeves, turned around and walked out of the Heavenly Emperor Palace, heading towards the Imperial Mausoleum. Qin Weishan gritted his teeth and followed. When Ling Shao arrived at the Heavenly Emperor Palace with Xia Huang and the rest, he saw a mess on the ground. Xia Yunran had already disappeared. A general of the Green Dragon Army captured a palace maid and interrogated her. Only then did he know that Xia Yunran had gone to the imperial mausoleum in the back mountain. Not good. Xia Huang's expression changed. His body turned into a ray of light as he rushed towards the imperial mausoleum. He had a bad premonition in his heart. Ling Zhao's body trembled as he thought of a possibility. The imperial mausoleum in the back mountain was the dragon vein of the Great Desolation ancient country. It was also the forbidden area of the imperial city that guarded the dragon vein. Why would Xia Yunran go to the dragon vein? Could it be that he wanted to destroy the dragon vein? However, Ling Zhao felt that it was impossible. Xia Yunran shouldn't be crazy to such an extent. However, from Xia Yunran's foolish rebellion, it didn't seem like something a normal prince would do. Vaguely, Ling Zhao felt that there was a mastermind behind all of this. Underworld? Ling Zhao's heart trembled as he thought of this mysterious assassin organization. For some reason, Ling Zhao instinctively felt that all of this had a mysterious connection with the underworld. Perhaps I can find some information about the underworld from Ling Yunxiang's soul. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as the power of his primordial spirit spread out. He used a secret spiritual technique and probed towards Ling Yunxiang's soul. The imperial mausoleum in the back mountain was actually a huge valley in the middle of a mountain. The mountain peak looked very beautiful and was located at the northernmost part of the imperial city. It was where the emperors of the Great Desolation ancient country were buried. Xia Huang's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he had arrived at the entrance of the imperial mausoleum. At the entrance of the imperial mausoleum, the array that originally sealed the imperial mausoleum had been forcefully broken by someone. The 9 celestial elders of the Xia family had all disappeared at this moment. There were only some bloodstains and traces of battle left on the ground. Vile spawn. Xia Huang's face was ashen as his eyes flashed with a cold light. The 9 celestial elders were the most powerful forces of the Xia family. Now that they had all died in the imperial mausoleum, the imperial family's strength had been greatly reduced. Xia Huang knew that even if Xia Yunran wasn't the one who killed them, it was definitely related to him. He also didn't expect Xia Yunran to be so deranged. At this moment, Ling Zhao had also used a secret spiritual technique to obtain the information he wanted from Ling Yunxiang's soul. His face instantly turned serious. Ling Yunxiang was indeed a member of the underworld. Moreover, he was a gold-ranked assassin and one of the leaders of the underworld in the imperial city. It was because of the Demon King's residence that Ling Yunxiang was able to live like a fish in water. Although Ling Yunxiang didn't have access to the most important information, Ling Zhao had discovered a crucial piece of information. Xia Yunran's rebellion was actually related to the underworld, and the underworld's goal was the dragon vein in the imperial mausoleum in the back mountain. These assassins who were hiding in the corners actually had designs on the dragon vein. Rumble. At this moment, the entire imperial mausoleum began to tremble. A mysterious aura exploded and a powerful dragon's aura filled the air. The earth began to tremble violently and an angry dragon's roar came from the depths of the earth. Roar. The dragon's roar shook the heavens and caused the entire imperial city to tremble. Waves of yellow mist filled the imperial mausoleum in the back mountain, containing an icy aura of death. That dragon's roar was the voice of the dragon vein spirit. It was as if the dragon vein spirit had been severely injured. The dragon's roar contained a tyrannical sense of anger, causing the mist in the valley to roll violently. Not good, something's happened to the dragon vein. Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Sage Chunyang looked at each other. Their expressions changed greatly as they leaped into the valley. Chapter 306. Boom. In the valley, yellow mist filled the air, giving off a deathly aura. All the flowers and trees within the deathly aura withered, as if the imperial mausoleum had turned into a forbidden land. Roar. A furious dragon roar sounded, causing the earth to shake and the void to rumble. The surrounding mountains cracked and pure dragon vein earth chi gushed out, but it turned into yellow deathly aura. The sky was dark and there was no light at all. The yellow deathly aura gushed out, as if it wanted to engulf Xia Huang and the rest and drain their vitality. Get lost! Xia Huang shouted coldly. A powerful will of heaven and earth spread out, instantly dispersing the deathly aura. Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Chunyang Zhenren's expressions turned serious. They felt that this place was boundless. After flying for so long, they still hadn't found the dragon vein. Array! Ling Juechen said slowly, his eyes revealing a trace of shock. To be able to silently trap 3 half-step noble realm experts in the array, and the deathly aura was a threat to celestial realm experts. The person who set up this array was truly extraordinary. Ling Xiao followed beside Ling Juechen, his eyes flashing with a trace of surprise. It's the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Array. Ling Xiao said slowly, recognizing the origin of this array. Speaking of which, the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Array's origin was extraordinary. It was the array of a martial arts sanctuary 10,000 years ago. It was rumored that it could connect the worlds of Yin and Yang and had the power to reverse life and death. Ling Xiao had seen it in his previous life, so he felt that this array was very similar to the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Array. The yellow deathly aura was the aura of the Yellow Springs. The Yellow Springs was the aura of extreme death. It was a mysterious energy that could turn life into death. It usually existed in the depths of the earth and coexisted with the dragon vein. It was very difficult for it to appear in the world. The Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Array used the power of the dragon vein to create the power of life and death in the Yellow Springs. It had an extremely mysterious power. Although Ling Xiao guessed that this array was the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Array, he didn't know what the person behind it wanted to do. When Xia Huang and the rest heard the introduction of the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Array, their eyes turned cold. Damn it! How dare you target my great desolate dragon vein? Xia Huang's eyes were cold as a powerful aura emanated from his body. He gathered the will of the heavens and earth and punched towards the void. Crack! Suddenly, an unparalleled fist force filled the air. It contained a power that could tear everything apart. It caused the death chi in the air to shake violently and surge violently. Roar! Another dragon's roar rang out. It contained a ripple of unwillingness as it slowly fell silent. Rumble! In the void, the death chi of the Yellow Springs surged, and black lightning filled the air. A huge yellow dragon that was tens of thousands of feet long traversed between heaven and earth, and a powerful dragon might spread out. Seeing this huge yellow dragon, the expressions of Xia Huang and the other two changed drastically. That powerful dragon might and the intertwining majestic earth chi all indicated that this huge yellow dragon was the dragon vein of the Great Desolation. The yellow dragon floated in the Yellow Springs. Its aura was cold and gloomy, containing a thick death chi. A pair of blood-red moon-like eyes fell, looking at Xia Huang and the others with a ferocious look. The Great Desolate Dragon Vein. It really is the Great Desolate Dragon Vein, Ling Xiao sighed softly, and there was a trace of nostalgia in his eyes. Young Master Mo, the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Formation has been activated. Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Spiritual Master Chunyang have all fallen into the trap. As long as the formation is activated, the 3 of them will be killed. On a mountain shrouded in the death chi of the Yellow Springs, a black-robed man knelt on one knee and said respectfully. Standing in front of him was a slender young man in a white robe. He looked very elegant and handsome, but his face was pale. Moreover, his eyes were emitting a faint blue glow, like the wisps in hell. It was chilling. What about Xia Yunran and Chen Weishan? The white-robed young man's eyes flashed with a trace of excitement as he asked slowly. They have followed your instructions and turned the 9 heavenly beings elders and the corpses of the warriors into ghost slaves. As long as the death chi of the Yellow Springs is completely released, they will become an army of ghost slaves. The black-robed man ordered. Very good. Ha ha ha. The Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Formation has been completed. No one can stop me anymore. My years of planning have not been in vain. The three of them have failed, but I, Mo Wuji, am destined to succeed. The white-robed young man, Mo Wuji, who was the Mr. Mo that Xia Yunran referred to, laughed loudly. His body emitted a strong and cold ghostly energy, like a huge black hole, and began to devour the death chi of the yellow springs around him. Roar! A terrifying dragon roar resounded. The huge dragon in the void spat out a mouthful, and suddenly, a yellow ocean surged over. Its aura was unparalleled, and it suppressed Xia Huang and the other two. The death chi of the yellow springs surged, as if it had turned into a mountain of swords and a sea of swords in an instant. Swoosh! 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 Xia Huang and the other two saw that the huge dragon had launched an attack, and their faces changed instantly. They began to use their techniques to defend themselves. Boom! Xia Huang stood in the air, emitting the majesty and domineering aura of a king. He punched out towards the void, and instantly, a terrifying fist aura exploded, blasting away a large amount of the death chi of the yellow springs. A silver ancient sword appeared in Ling Juechen's hand. The sword chi was 3,000 feet long, and its sharpness was unparalleled. It destroyed the surging waves that roared like a tsunami. The horsetail whisk in immortal Pure Yang's hand shot out like divine chains of order, forming a mysterious light that blocked the mountain of blades and the sea of swords formed by the deathly aura of the netherworld and completely shattered them. Ling Xiao did not make a move. Under Ling Juechen's protection, his eyes seemed to be filled with light. He swept his gaze across the huge yellow dragon in the void, trying to find a flaw. This Yellow Springs Rising Dragon formation was far inferior to the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon formation that Ling Xiao had seen 10,000 years ago. It could only be considered a simplified version. Furthermore, the mastermind had hurriedly set it up, so there would definitely be many flaws. This was Ling Xiao's chance. He did not think that Xia Huang and the other two could stop the great wilderness dragon vein. It should be known that the 8 great ancient nations of the 8 Desolates region could last for 10,000 years because of the suppression of the dragon vein. Ling Xiao was very familiar with the dragon vein. When the great wilderness dragon vein was completely unleashed, it was an existence that could be suppressed even by supremes. Although the current great wilderness dragon vein was not as strong as it was 10,000 years ago, it was still not something that Xia Huang and the other two half-step to the noble realm could stop. Rumble. Chapter 307. Swoosh. Swoosh. Beams of blazing divine light shot out from the dragon's mouth. They contained the power to pierce through everything and were extremely fast. The terrifying energy fluctuation caused Xia Huang and the other two to change their expressions. Boom. 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 Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Pure Sun's spiritual master used all their strength. Their fighting spirit soared and the will of heaven and earth exploded from their bodies as they tried their best to resist. However, although the divine light was blocked, the three of them felt as if they were struck by lightning and were pushed back dozens of feet. Roar. The dragon's roar was earth-shattering and murderous intent filled the air. Ghostly chi filled the air as if ghosts had appeared. Together with the yellow dragon in the air, they charged towards Xia Huang and the others. The rising dragon formation grew stronger and stronger. Although Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Pure Sun's spiritual master were all experts who were half a step away from the noble realm, they were still struggling in the end. They were even injured by the terrifying energy and blood flowed from the corners of their mouths. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. He could clearly feel that the dragon vein of the imperial mausoleum had been broken by someone. Someone had set up the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon formation. It was a supreme method to convert the earth chi of the dragon vein into Yellow Springs death chi. The death chi of the underworld filled the air and faintly intertwined with the earth vein. It seemed like it was going to spread out. Wherever the death chi of the underworld reached, no life was born and everything withered. The mastermind wants to use the Rising Dragon formation as a foundation to turn the entire imperial capital into a land of death? Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with shock and anger. The mastermind was indeed ruthless. The result was that tens of millions of people in the imperial capital would die here. Moreover, Ling Xiao could faintly feel that the death qi of the underworld contained a power that could turn people into puppets. Boom! 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 The battle between Xia Huang and the other two and the yellow dragon continued. However, they were already at a disadvantage and seemed to be in imminent danger. At this moment, the death qi of the underworld began to spread in all directions. Mysterious figures slowly appeared. Their auras were cold and deathly silent. They were like ghostly soldiers from hell and appeared before Ling Xiao and the others. Those figures were all dressed in black armor and filled with death aura. Their expressions were dull, and their bodies were surrounded by a dark green aura. Their eyes were filled with a dense ghost aura. Without any shouts or charges, these ghost soldiers instantly attacked Ling Xiao and the others. Rumble. The death aura of the yellow springs vibrated, and the weapons flew through the air, incomparably sharp. It was especially so for the 9 people at the front, who emanated death qi of the yellow springs. It could be seen that they were 9 old men. Mobilizing the death qi of the yellow springs, the power that burst out was even more powerful than ordinary celestial realm cultivators. 9 elders. Xia Huang's eyes widened as he recognized them instantly. These 9 people were the 9 elders of the Xia clan who guarded the imperial mausoleum. However, he did not expect that he would be refined into a ghost slave and become a monster that only knew how to kill. Moreover, Xia Huang also saw Xia Yunran, Chen Weishan, and the others in the ghost slave army. His eyes revealed a trace of pain, but more than that, there was monstrous anger. Damn the person behind this! Xia Huang roared and attacked in an instant. A black gold halberd appeared in his hand. It flowed with a mysterious luster like a black flame as it flew through the air and struck forward. A dazzling flame fell with unparalleled heat, enveloping the 9 elders and the ghost slave army in an instant. Rumble. However, when the black gold halberd landed on the ghost slaves, the sound of metal clashing could be heard. Sparks flew in all directions, and those blazing flames could not cause any harm to them. The 9 elders stepped on the flames and came forward, unscathed. Their eyes were filled with dark ghost fire. Kill! Ling Ju Chen and Chunyang's spiritual master also shouted. Their eyes revealed a trace of sharpness as they attacked. They could see that these ghost slaves had long lost their vitality. It was only because of the death aura of the yellow springs that they became a ghost slave army that only knew how to kill. Xia Huang and the others did not hold back. Each of them fought with all their strength. In the end, they killed the ghost slaves one after another and shattered their bodies. Buzz! Within the yellow springs rising dragon grand array, there seemed to be a mysterious sound wave spreading. Moreover, a terrifying aura rose from the giant yellow dragon in the void. A monstrous dragon claw swept across the sky and slammed down on Xia Huang and the others. Moreover, the ghost slave army that had been killed had come back to life. Each of them was filled with murderous intent, and ghost aura surged as they charged at Yi Shiwen. The situation instantly became critical. Rumble. That monstrous dragon claw seemed to contain an unparalleled destructive power. Xia Huang and the other two revealed a frenzied look in their eyes. They attacked at the same time and exploded with their strongest power. However, they were still sent flying by the dragon claw. They coughed out blood continuously and their auras became weak. The ghost slave army charged forward fearlessly and was about to drown Xia Huang and the others in an instant. I know, so it's the 7-star soul morning nail. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. The moment the giant yellow dragon in the void attacked, he finally saw clearly that there were 6 mysterious nodes flashing on the giant yellow dragon's body. That aura was exactly the same as the 7-star soul morning nail. The 7-star soul morning nail was a treasure of the ghost Tao. It was a secret treasure made with the divine power of the Dubhi, Merak, Fekta, Migrez, Alioth, Mizar, and Alkaid. It could stabilize the 7 souls of living beings and control the 3 souls. It contained a mysterious power. 10,000 years ago, Ling Xiao saw the 7-star soul morning nail. It was a treasure of a ghost Dao holy land. Legend had it that it had once killed an immortal and was taken from the corpse of an ancient god. Ling Xiao was still wondering how the mastermind suppressed the great desolation dragon vein. It turned out that it was because of the 7-star soul morning nail. This 7-star soul morning nail should be a replica. Moreover, there are only 6 of them. This is my chance. Ling Xiao's eyes shone. He could see that the giant yellow dragon's body was pinned by the soul morning nail. However, the most crucial Dubhe soul morning nail was missing, causing a flaw to appear in the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Grand Array. This slight flaw was already fatal. Spirit of the dragon vein, you are the ruler of the earth and the ancestor of all living beings. I know that you are unwilling to be sealed, so awaken the power of your true spirit. Come back. Ling Xiao's forehead shone brightly. A trace of mysterious power of the primordial spirit surged into the sky and headed for the giant yellow dragon in the void. Roar! The dragon's roar shook the heavens. The giant yellow dragon, which was originally filled with a ghostly aura, actually revealed a trace of struggle and pain in its huge eyes. What's going on? Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Chunyang's spiritual master had originally been heavily injured under the pressure of the giant yellow dragon. They were about to fight with their lives on the line. However, when they saw the giant yellow dragon suddenly stop, a look of shock appeared in their eyes. In my name, Ling Xiao, I return your freedom. Chapter 308. Whoosh! At the same time, Ling Xiao's body turned into a bolt of golden lightning. He landed on a slope hundreds of meters to his left and punched it. Rumble! The earth trembled. The slope was instantly shattered by Ling Xiao. Death energy of the underworld filled the air. A black nail could be faintly seen. It flowed with a mysterious light and was nailed deep into the earth. Alcade's soul morning nail. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He could feel an aura from the soul morning nail that made his primordial spirit tremble. This soul morning nail looked extraordinary. It actually had the power to restrain the primordial spirit. Clearly, it was not an ordinary item. Rise! Ling Xiao's feet trembled. A majestic force came crashing down. Instantly, the earth trembled violently. The Alcade's soul morning nail began to tremble violently. Not good. Stop him. Mo Wuji, who was observing the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Grand Array, was shocked. He hurriedly pointed at Ling Xiao and shouted. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. This 7-star soul morning nail was very mysterious. It was because of the 7-star soul morning nail that he was able to nail the dragon vein spirit and set up the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Grand Array. How did Ling Xiao see through it? Whoosh! 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 Dozens of figures in black robes appeared behind Mo Wuji. Each of them had a powerful aura. They were like ghosts as they charged towards Ling Xiao. Boom! At the same time, the earth trembled violently. The Alcade's soul morning nail was finally taken out by Ling Xiao. It emitted a mysterious light in the void and turned into a 3-inch long black nail. It emitted an aura that made one's heart palpitate. Ling Xiao immediately took out a jade box and put it away. Above the void, a black light spot at the tail of the yellow dragon dissipated. Suddenly, the sky shook, and the dragon's might filled the air. The yellow dragon's eyes seemed to be in a daze, and it began to struggle violently. Ling Xiao has found a way to break the array. Go and protect him. Xia Huang's eyes lit up. He also saw the changes in the yellow dragon. Immediately, he was invigorated and continued to fight the undying ghost slave army. Whoosh! Whoosh! Ling Juechen and Pure Sun's spiritual master looked at each other and immediately charged towards Ling Xiao. Damn it! Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Formation, disperse. Mo Wuji's expression was extremely ugly. Instantly, a black flag flashed in his hand and it flew towards the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Grand Array. Rumble. Endless Yellow Springs death chi surged, turning the world into a vast expanse. It was as if the Yellow Springs River was flowing, emitting ghostly wails and howls. In an instant, the Yellow Springs River blocked Ling Juechen and Taoist Pure Yang. Break! A cold light flashed in Ju Chen's eyes. Immediately, the ancient silver sword in his hand slashed down with unparalleled sharpness. He wanted to break through the bindings in front of him and save Ling Xiao. The Pure Yang spiritual master also unleashed his supreme divine power. A blazing sun seemed to have appeared behind him. Its radiance was dazzling as it pressed down on the Yellow Spring River. Rumble. The earth quaked as unparalleled divine light shot out in all directions. The death energy of the Yellow Springs surged in all directions. Although the Yellow Springs River was shaking violently, it was like a chasm that firmly blocked the path of Ling Juechen and Taoist Pure Yang. On the other side, a few black-robed men with biting cold auras had already arrived in front of Ling Xiao. Kill! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as his killing intent condensed. At this moment, he didn't hold back at all. The sky-devouring sword emitted a sharp light and swept towards the black-robed men. The black-robed men's figures were like ghosts as they changed directions in the void. Moreover, their auras were very powerful. They were already close to the level of Sky Realm experts. However, such a cultivation base was nothing in front of Ling Xiao. The sky-devouring sword's light swept out and the sword light instantly erupted, sweeping in all directions. Endless sword chi wreaked havoc and directly chopped the black-robed men into pieces. A bloody mist spread out in the void. Next, Alioth's soul morning nail. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he sensed dozens of powerful auras rapidly approaching. Without any hesitation, he used a secret teleportation technique and rushed into the distance. Thousands of zhang away, an ancient tree that was only left with a trunk was blown apart by Ling Xiao's punch. Unparalleled divine power shook the earth, causing a huge crack to appear on the ground. A soul morning nail rose from the crack. Ling Xiao kept the soul morning nail. Like flowing water, his speed was extremely fast and he instantly moved towards the third soul morning nail. Ling Xiao used the secret teleportation technique, and the sky was filled with afterimages. Although those black-robed men were charging at Ling Xiao, they couldn't keep up with Ling Xiao's speed. In the blink of an eye, 5 soul morning nails were pulled out by Ling Xiao. Only the last heavenly jade soul morning nail was left. You ruined my plans. Ling Xiao, you deserve to die. Mo Wuji's heart was bleeding. His face became extremely ferocious and his eyes were filled with burning killing intent. The Great Desolation Dragon Vein was very strong. Mo Wuji also spent a lot of effort to nail the 6 soul morning nails into various parts of the Dragon Vein spirit so that it would become a part of the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Array. However, before the 7th heavenly pivot soul morning nail could land, Ling Xiao, Xia Huang and the rest barged in. Therefore, he could only hastily activate the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Array. Unexpectedly, the last soul morning nail became the biggest flaw. Ling Xiao discovered the secret of the soul morning nails and pulled them out in a short period of time. Young Master Mo, let's retreat quickly. The Yellow Springs Rising Dragon Array is about to be broken. When Xia Huang and the other 2 break out, it will be difficult for us to escape. A black-robed man said with an anxious look on his face. No, even if we have to retreat, I have to kill Ling Xiao. Mo Wuji's eyes were filled with killing intent. He stood on top of a mountain and looked at Ling Xiao, who was flying towards him from afar, and said coldly. Under Mo Wuji's feet was the 6th heavenly jade soul morning nail. If Ling Xiao wanted to completely release the Dragon Vein spirit, he had to pull out this soul morning nail as well. Mo Wuji could already see Ling Xiao coming towards him at lightning speed. Their gazes collided in the void, releasing traces of divine light waves. Ling Xiao, you ruined my plans. Die! Mo Wuji roared angrily. His whole body emitted a powerful aura. The death energy of the yellow springs spread around him. His aura was very sinister and ghostly, like a ghost king from hell. It was very terrifying. Although Mo Wuji looked like he was only in his 20s, his cultivation had already reached the first level of the heaven realm. His talent was peerless. Mr. Mo, I didn't expect you to be from the underworld. These should be all the elites of the underworld in the capital city, right? Just nice, let's settle our old grudges. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold as he looked at Mo Wuji and the group of black-robed men behind him. These people had strong auras, but Ling Xiao was very familiar with them. They were exactly the same as the assassins from the underworld who were chasing after him. Chapter 309. Boom! Xia Huang was fighting fiercely with the ghost slave army, while Ling Juechen and Daoist Pure Yang were trapped by the Yellow Springs River. They were trying their best to break free from the restraints of the array. They had already seen Mo Wuji and company surrounding Ling Xiao, and their eyes were filled with anxiety. However, the Yellow Springs Rising Dragon array was not broken, and the three of them were unable to break free from the array. Ling Xiao, you are indeed vigilant. But I really regret it. I should have gotten rid of you earlier, or you wouldn't have ruined my plans. Mo Wuji's eyes were cold, as if there was a ghost fire dancing in them. He was indeed filled with regret. At the beginning, Ling Xiao was only at the spirit transformation stage, but under the repeated pursuit of the underworld, not only did he not die, he became stronger and stronger. Especially in the 8 desolate secret territory, Mo Wuji had overestimated Ling Xiao. He had sent 2 top-notch gold-ranked assassins, but they still failed to kill Ling Xiao. If Ling Xiao had died long ago, he wouldn't have ruined his plans today. The underworld is a group of rats living in the smelly sewers, only daring to act in the dark. But today, I will make the underworld disappear from the world completely. Ling Xiao stared at Mo Wuji and said indifferently. Make the underworld disappear. Ha ha ha. What big words. Mo Wuji laughed, his eyes filled with mockery. Ling Xiao, the underworld's strength is beyond your imagination. But you won't be able to see it. Today, you are destined to die. Go, kill him. Mo Wuji's eyes turned cold, and he didn't dare to waste any more time. The weakest of the black-robed men behind Mo Wuji was a gold-ranked assassin at the master stage, and there were even more than a dozen of them at the heaven stage. They were considered a powerful force in the entire capital. Hearing Mo Wuji's words, the dozens of black-robed assassins' eyes flashed with killing intent, and they charged towards Ling Xiao. This was the foundation of the underworld. Ling Xiao believed that these dozens of black-robed assassins could fight Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Pure Sun's spiritual master at the same time. Ling Xiao was indeed no match for them. But unfortunately, this was the great desolate dragon vein. Rumble. Ling Xiao stood in the air and looked at the assassin who was rushing towards him. His eyes were indifferent, but there was a sharp glint in them. Dragon vein spirit, awaken. Ling Xiao used the power of his soul to communicate with the huge yellow dragon in the sky. Immediately, a terrifying dragon's might permeated the surroundings. The dragon's roar rushed into the clouds, shaking the sky. It contained freedom and joy from breaking free from restraints, as well as fury and killing intent. Crack! The earth suddenly cracked open, and the yellow dragon in the sky slowly faded away. From the ground, a black and yellow dragon rushed out, flying through the air. It coiled around Ling Xiao's body, emitting waves of joy and intimacy. The 7-star soul morning nails were already missing the most crucial heavenly pivot soul morning nail. In addition, Ling Xiao had already removed 5 of the soul morning nails, so the last one could no longer bind the dragon vein spirit. With Ling Xiao's secret technique, the dragon vein spirit was instantly awakened. The Eight Desolates region's dragon vein was originally set up by Ling Xiao and Jin Se. Feeling the familiar waves of Ling Xiao's soul, the dragon vein spirit was very excited. How terrifying and majestic was the power of the great desolate dragon vein. It contained the purest dragon vein earth energy, which instantly merged into Ling Xiao's body, causing his power to rise rapidly. A terrifying aura spread out. Not good, retreat. Mo Wuji's expression changed, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. He couldn't understand how Ling Xiao could communicate with the dragon vein spirit. The last heavenly jade's soul morning nail was still under his feet, so how could the dragon vein spirit break free? But it was too late. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold, and the devouring heaven sword in his hand shone with unparalleled sharpness. The four divine lights of earth, water, wind, and fire shot into the sky and gathered in the air, forming a huge sword aura. Its sharpness was unparalleled, destroying everything. For elephants sky-striking style. The sky-devouring sword gathered the power of the dragon vein, and a huge sword aura descended from the sky. It contained a power that made Xia Huang and the others tremble in fear. Although those black-robed assassins were strong, how could they withstand such a crushing power? Boom! Dozens of black-robed assassins exploded in the air. They were swept by the terrifying sword aura, and exploded into a mist of blood. Not even their bones were left, and they didn't even have time to scream. On Ling Xiao's palm, a golden lotus bloomed, emitting a mysterious light. It curled in the air slightly, and collected the dozens of black souls. This was the magical effect of the devouring heaven golden lotus. Not only could it devour the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, it could also devour the souls of all living things. Ling Xiao stood above the 9 heavens, with the black-yellow dragon vein coiling around him. The devouring heaven sword in his hand shone with a peerless sharpness. His black hair flew in the wind, and his white robe was whiter than snow. He had an aura of invincibility. Ling Xiao's gaze landed on Mo Wuji's pale face. He was indifferent, like a divine dragon overlooking an ant from the 9 heavens. How? How is this possible? Mo Wuji's heart was in turmoil. His eyes were filled with disbelief, and his mouth was filled with bitterness. But in the next moment, his entire body shuddered as he sensed a fatal danger approaching. He didn't even think about it before fleeing into the distance. Ling Xiao would definitely not let him go. With his current cultivation level, he was no match for Ling Xiao. Mo Wuji, go to hell. Ling Xiao said indifferently. He slowly raised the devouring heaven sword. The power in Ling Xiao's body felt like it was about to explode, and he felt like he needed to vent it. The current Ling Xiao was strengthened by the dragon vein spirit. Although it wasn't as terrifying as when he used the 8 Desolation Demon Suppression Array in the 8 Desolation Secret Territory, it wasn't something that ordinary people could resist. Ling Xiao even dared to fight a noble stage expert. This was also why Ling Xiao had the confidence to challenge He Qing and Su Yangcheng. Because he was in the capital, he could use the power of the Great Desolation Dragon Vein at any time. As long as his physical body was strong enough, he could explode with destructive power. Wang! Mo Wuji's face was pale, and his eyes were filled with unwillingness. A light flashed in his hand, and a purple ancient jade appeared. He suddenly crushed it. Boom! A mysterious force swept Mo Wuji up, as if he was going to disappear into the void. It's a one-time teleportation Dao item. Where do you think you're going? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he instantly recognized that the ancient jade in Mo Wuji's hand should be a one-time use Dao item. It could instantly teleport him thousands of miles away, and was extremely precious. Ling Xiao had no choice but to take out this treasure because he was forced into a corner by Ling Xiao. But now that the void was under Ling Xiao's control, and the will of heaven and earth was descending, how could Mo Wuji escape from under his nose? Whoosh! A resplendent sword radiance shot across the sky, instantly dispersing the teleportation force on Mo Wuji's body. Mo Wuji spat out a mouthful of blood as if he was struck by lightning. His face was pale, and his eyes were filled with despair. Chapter 310. Ling Xiao, you can't kill me. If you dare to kill me, you will definitely die. Mo Wuji's eyes were filled with fear as he roared in a threatening manner. He did not expect that the single-use offensive Dao item that he was relying on would be destroyed by Ling Xiao, completely destroying his hope of escape. Ling Xiao had already caught up with him. He held the heaven-devouring sword in his hand and was surrounded by the energy of the dragon vein. He stared coldly at Mo Wuji. Don't dare to kill you. You are really childish. Ling Xiao sneered. He did not care what Mo Wuji said. The heaven-devouring sword emitted a monstrous sword radiance and instantly drowned Mo Wuji. Heaven and earth rumbled as the sword radiance swept across. Accompanied by the ancient and vast roar of the dragon, Mo Wuji did not even have the time to scream before he disappeared into the void. Mo Wuji's storage ring flashed in the air and was kept by Ling Xiao. The heaven-devouring golden lotus emitted a misty light and a ray of light flashed. Instantly, Mo Wuji's soul was sucked into the heaven-devouring golden lotus. In the imperial mausoleum at the back mountain, endless death energy of the yellow springs filled the air. As the spirit of the dragon vein was released by Ling Xiao, endless earth energy surged. Under the effect of the dragon vein, the death energy of the yellow springs was suppressed and sucked into the depths of the earth. After the death energy of the yellow springs dissipated, heaven and earth became empty. However, the imperial mausoleum at the back mountain was a mess. All the flowers and trees had withered and the mountains were vast. It was like a desolate land. Ling Xiao. You can control the dragon vein of the wilderness? With the yellow springs rising dragon formation completely destroyed, Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Sage Pure Sun were able to escape. When Xia Huang saw Ling Xiao, he could clearly sense the qi of draconic qi on him. His eyes were filled with shock. One must know that even if Xia Huang was the king of the great wilderness and was inextricably linked to the dragon vein of the wilderness, he could not be like Ling Xiao, who could fully activate the dragon vein of the wilderness and unleash the power of a noble stage cultivator. This is nothing. It's a secret technique that my cheap master taught me. At a critical moment, I can temporarily borrow the power of the dragon vein. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as he discreetly pushed the responsibility of controlling the dragon veins of the Great Desolation onto his non-existent master. So it's the muddle-headed old man. He's so skilled, I didn't expect him to know how to control the dragon vein. Xia Huang and the other two came to a sudden realization, and their eyes revealed a trace of admiration. The muddle-headed old man could be said to be the most mysterious person in the Eight Desolates region. His strength was unfathomable. If he was the one who taught Ling Xiao the secret technique, Xia Huang and the others would naturally think that it was natural. With the power of the dragon vein, you can unleash the power of the noble stage. No wonder Mo Wuji and the others died in your hands. It's a pity that we didn't leave any survivors. Mo Wuji's group's whereabouts are mysterious. If we had left any survivors, we might have been able to interrogate them about their origins. Xia Huang said regretfully. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, Your Majesty, you might not know this, but these people are the assassins of the underworld. Mo Wuji is the leader of the underworld in the Great Desolation ancient country. This time, I'm afraid that all the elites of the underworld in the Great Desolation ancient country have died here. The rest are just some small fries. They are the assassins of the underworld. Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Pure Sun's spiritual master all revealed a trace of shock. Even with their cultivation, they were incomparably fearful of the underworld. Although this group of rats hiding in the smelly sewers were very annoying, their strength was extremely terrifying. It was said that they had once successfully assassinated a noble stage expert. Mo Wuji had actually become the guest elder of the ninth prince, openly walking in the capital. No wonder they couldn't find any traces of the assassins of the underworld no matter how hard they tried. As for what the underworld is scheming, we have no way of knowing. Fortunately, their scheme didn't succeed. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of light as he said slowly. Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Pure Sun's spiritual master all nodded in agreement. Being able to kill Mo Wuji and the others was already the greatest reward. Xia Huang checked the imperial tombs at the back of the mountain, and only relaxed when he found that the tombs weren't damaged. Moreover, in the valley, Xia Huang also found over 10,000 corpses. They were all warriors of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom, killed by Mo Wuji and the others to be refined into a ghost slave army. Even Xia Yunran and Chen Weishan were among them, and their eyes revealed a look of unwillingness. After the death energy of the Yellow Springs dissipated, these corpses were completely devoid of life. After pausing in front of Xia Yunran's corpse for a moment, Xia Huang's eyes revealed a faint trace of emotion. Finally, he left without saying a word. Soon, the Green Flood Dragon Army's warriors came in and buried these corpses. The rebellion that had engulfed the entire royal capital was finally quelled just like that. The price was the death of the first Prince Xia Yunjie and the ninth Prince Xia Yunran. The warriors of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom also suffered heavy losses. Naturally, Xia Huang's heart wasn't as calm as his appearance. After all, Xia Yunjie and Xia Yunran were his most beloved sons. Ling Juchen and Taoist Pure Sun were speechless. Not long after, the Green Flood Dragon Army's warriors came to report that Xia Hongxiu and Ling Qingqing had been safely rescued. The two of them didn't suffer any injuries, but their cultivations were sealed, and they were locked in a heavily guarded palace. When Xia Hongxiu and Ling Qingqing walked over, they saw Ling Xiao, and their eyes revealed incomparable surprise and disbelief. Ling Xiao, I knew that you were lucky. Nothing would happen to you. You made me worry for so long for nothing. How are you going to compensate me? Ling Qingqing punched Ling Xiao's chest. Her beautiful eyes were slightly red, but her charming face was filled with a happy smile. Xia Hongxiu only stood beside Xia Huang, looking at Ling Xiao and Ling Qingqing with a slightly gloomy gaze. Many thanks for Sister Qingqing's concern. When I return, I'll give Sister Qingqing something good. I guarantee that you'll like it. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, keeping her in suspense. Ling Qingqing's eyes instantly lit up. She smiled and said, You said it. If you don't satisfy me, I won't let you off. Xia Huang, Ling Juchen, and Taoist Pure Sun temporarily left. With such a huge rebellion and unforeseen event in the capital, there were still many things that they needed to deal with. Ling Xiao returned to the Demon King's mansion. Young master, it's great that you're fine. Meng Ao had already woken up, and was being supported by someone. He looked very pale, but when he saw Ling Xiao, he and Lu Xiongfei, their eyes revealed incomparable surprise. Uncle Meng, Uncle Lu. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of pain. Meng Ao lost an arm, and Lu Xiongfei lost a leg. It was all done by the assassins of the underworld. It was related to the Wanshou sect, Mo Wuji, and Ling Yunxiang. Today, Mo Wuji and Ling Yunxiang had died in Ling Xiao's hands. The Wanshou sect's Tiger King was also killed by Ling Xiao. This could be considered as revenge for Meng Ao and Lu Xiongfei. Chapter 311. Meng Ao seemed to understand what Ling Xiao meant. He smiled and said, Young master, isn't it just an arm and a leg? It doesn't affect us at all. The most important thing is that you're safe. Meng Ao and Lu Xiongfei had also felt that terrifying wave of energy in the Imperial Mausoleum and were worried about Ling Xiao's safety. Now that they saw Ling Xiao safe and sound, they were relieved. Uncle Meng, Uncle Lu. I've killed the culprits who caused you to lose your arms and legs. The people of the Wanshou sect can't run away. Sooner or later, I'll make them pay with their blood. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. He then told them what happened in the Imperial Mausoleum. Mo Wuji is the leader of the underworld. No wonder we couldn't find any trace of the underworld. But young master now has the power to challenge a noble realm cultivator. This is incredible. Young master's talent is even more demonic than the lord's. Lu Xiongfei exclaimed. His eyes were full of excitement. Unknowingly, this young man had grown to such a level. He was almost at Ling Zhen's level. Ling Xiao smiled and said, Uncle Meng, Uncle Lu, don't worry. I have a way to restore the lost arms and legs. Ling Xiao thought of the peach of immortality he got in the 8 Barons' secret land. The peach of immortality tree was a top spiritual root. It had immense vitality and could restore broken limbs. It had a miraculous effect. Really? Meng Ao and Lu Xiongfei looked at each other. Their eyes were full of surprise. They thought that there was no hope, but when they heard Ling Zhao's words, they became excited. After all, if they could restore their arms and legs, they would have the hope of improving their martial arts. Otherwise, they would never be able to enter the celestial realm. That's right. This time, I got some good stuff in the 8 Barons' secret land. It can be put to good use. Ling Xiao smiled and walked into the demon lord's residence with the others. The place where Ling Feng was cultivating was guarded by the soldiers of the tiger camp. The terrifying saber intent was so powerful that Ling Xiao was amazed. He didn't expect Ling Feng's Skyblade bloodline to be so pure. However, judging from the degree of condensation of the saber intent, Ling Feng should be coming out of seclusion soon. Ling Feng had been in seclusion for close to a month now. Ling Xiao was also looking forward to seeing what kind of terrifying power Ling Feng would unleash after his heavenly blade bloodline was fully awakened. Master Jiaomu and Li Ling were still unconscious. Grandmaster Jiaomu and Li Ling did not seem to be in good condition. Their auras were very weak, and their faces were as pale as paper. Most of their meridians were broken, and their bodies were in terrible condition. They were relying on the power of healing pills to maintain their lives, but they would not be able to last much longer. Ling Zhao's gaze instantly turned serious. The underworld is truly ruthless. Ling Zhao's expression was cold. He could easily tell that Grandmaster Jiaomu and Li Ling had been injured by people from the underworld. That strange power of the underworld was unique to the assassins of the underworld. The assassins were all entrenched in Grandmaster Jiaomu and Li Ling's dantian, invading their entire bodies. At that time, the forces of the underworld were too terrifying. If Elder Li Ling had not risked his life to kill a large number of assassins, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Lu Xiongfei and Meng Ao's faces were also filled with anger as they spoke slowly. Ling Xiao nodded, his gaze deep. He was prepared to investigate the souls of Mo Wuji and the others. Perhaps there were still some secrets that he had not discovered. Boom! Ling Xiao struck out with his palm, and a golden lotus floated in the void, emitting countless rays of light, spreading towards Grandmaster Jiaomu and Li Ling's bodies. Although the strange power of the underworld was very strong, how could it be a match for the sky-devouring golden lotus? They were all refined by the sky-devouring golden lotus, completely disappearing into the meridians of the two. Ling Xiao used his own vital energy to protect Li Ling and Grandmaster Jiaomu's heart meridians. After stabilizing their life forces, he heaved a sigh of relief. Uncle Meng, prepare a secret room for me. I want to refine healing pills. Ling Xiao said slowly. He was prepared to use the Immortality Peach Spirit Fruit as the main ingredient to refine the Immortality Peach Treasure Pill. Not only could it regrow Lu Xiongfei and Meng Ao's limbs, but it could also completely heal Grandmaster Jiaomu and Li Ling's injuries. All right. Meng Ao nodded in agreement. Soon, Ling Xiao arrived at a secret room, ready to refine the pill. Ling Xiao had already condensed his martial Dao primordial spirit, and his mental strength was comparable to a low-grade alchemy grandmaster. This meant that Ling Xiao could even refine supreme Dao pills. The Immortality Peach Treasure Pill was only a peerless treasure pill, so it was not difficult for Ling Xiao to refine it. Wang! The 6-yang cauldron floated out from the longevity ring, emitting a resplendent spiritual light. The 6-yang cauldron was only a mid-grade treasure, so it was still a little lacking for Ling Xiao. However, with Ling Xiao's mental strength, he was confident that he could refine the Immortality Peach Treasure Pill with the 6-yang cauldron. The Immortality Peach Treasure Pill was actually refining the mysterious substance within the Immortality Peach Spirit Fruit, so it only needed a dozen supplementary spiritual herbs. There was no need to collect them. A fist-sized golden Immortality Peach Spirit Fruit appeared in Ling Xiao's palm, emitting a dazzling glow and a fragrant aroma. This Immortality Peach Treasure Pill is not only a top-grade healing pill, it can also raise one's martial Dao aptitude. It is also very useful for the disciples of the longevity sect. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. The Immortality Peach Treasure Pill was the mysterious substance within the Immortality Peach Spirit Fruit. In terms of effects, it was naturally much better than consuming the Immortality Peach Spirit Fruit alone. Boom! The true devouring fire emitted a dazzling light, instantly enveloping the 6-yang cauldron. A blazing aura spread out, and Ling Xiao's eyes became focused as he began to refine the Immortality Peach Treasure Pill. Preheating the cauldron, extracting the essence of the spiritual herbs, nourishing the pill, all of this was done smoothly by Ling Xiao, without any difficulty. A few hours later, when the 6-yang cauldron emitted a dazzling light, 9 perfectly round pills flew out, emitting a mysterious light. They jumped slightly in the void, and their spirituality was very strong. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he reached out and grabbed the void. In an instant, the 9 Immortality Peach Treasure Pills landed in his hand. Sensing that each of the Immortality Peach Treasure Pills was of high grade, Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of satisfaction. With these Immortality Peach Treasure Pills, Meng Ao, Lu Xiongfei, Master Jiaomu, and Li Ling's injuries would be healed quickly. Their cultivation would even improve. Next, let's see where this so-called underworld came from. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as the heaven-devouring golden lotus floated in front of him. He could see that the souls of Mo Wuji and company were being suppressed within. From Ling Xiao's forehead, a trace of primordial spirit energy emerged, trying to find the information he wanted from their souls. Chapter 312. Wang. The sky-devouring golden lotus shone brilliantly, and strands of golden light wrapped around those souls. Furthermore, there was a trace of mysterious energy that began to extract the memories within those souls. Ordinary people, even experts of the noble realm who had condensed their martial path primordial spirit, would not dare to absorb the memories of others. It was easy for their primordial spirit to become impure and affect their future martial path. However, Ling Xiao did not have such concerns. The sky-devouring golden lotus could refine everything and remove the origin imprint in the soul. Therefore, although Ling Xiao was checking the memories of Mo Wuji and the others, it did not affect the purity of his primordial spirit. The memories of those assassins were like scenes that slowly floated into Ling Xiao's mind. From their birth, cultivation, marriage, and even the moment before their death, everything was clearly visible to Ling Xiao. This underworld is so mysterious. Ling Xiao frowned slightly. He saw that these gold-ranked assassins in the Master Realm, and even heaven-ranked assassins in the Celestial Realm, had been absorbed into the Netherworld, but they had only accepted tasks and received commissions for revenge. Moreover, they would be controlled by the Netherworld with secret methods, but they did not know the origin of the Netherworld at all. Although the memories of their souls were complex, there was little useful information about the underworld. Kacha. After the memories of the assassins were extracted by Ling Xiao and swept by the sky-devouring golden lotus, they were instantly shattered and turned into the purest energy. The energy was refined by the sky-devouring golden lotus and integrated into Ling Xiao's primordial spirit, gradually strengthening it. Ling Xiao's gaze finally fell on Mo Wuji's soul. The soul was a very illusory existence that could not be seen by the naked eye. It could only become tangible after condensing into a primordial spirit. Therefore, only Ling Xiao's martial Dao primordial spirit could sense Mo Wuji's soul. It was a black illusory figure with a ferocious face. It looked exactly like Mo Wuji, and it looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of hatred. However, the power of the soul was too weak. It was bound by the sky-devouring golden lotus and could not break free. Wang. A trace of primordial spirit power descended and began to extract the memories of Mo Wuji's soul. It wanted to find out the true secrets of the underworld from them. Ling Xiao had a premonition that the underworld must be after something big since they dared to covet the 8 Desolation Dragon Vein. However, just as Ling Xiao was extracting Mo Wuji's memories, a vast and powerful energy suddenly awakened in Mo Wuji's soul. Rumble. Mo Wuji's soul instantly exploded into smithereens. Within the boundless void, a figure with a terrifying aura seemed to appear. His eyes were like lightning, and his entire body emitted a torrential ghostly aura. It was as though he was a ghost king from the depths of hell. Who are you? How dare you kill a disciple of my netherworld sect? A cold voice rang out. That silhouette was actually formed from the power of the primordial spirit. He instantly flew through the air and shot towards Ling Xiao's forehead with cold killing intent. He wanted to destroy Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. A mere essence soul imprint dares to behave atrociously towards me. A sharp light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. The martial way primordial spirit in his sea of consciousness sat cross-legged in the void, illuminating the heavens and earth. A vast and unparalleled force pressed down on that figure. Rumble. Although the figure was strong, it was a primordial spirit brand of an expert. Any ordinary soul would have been crushed by it. However, he did not expect Ling Xiao to have condensed a martial way primordial spirit. Suddenly, Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness trembled slightly. That figure was suppressed in an instant. Moreover, the sky-devouring golden lotus appeared and devoured that figure. A martial way primordial spirit at the Grandmaster realm? How is this possible? Who the hell are you? A shocked voice came from that figure. However, Ling Xiao did not give him a chance. The powerful devouring power of the sky-devouring golden lotus exploded and swallowed that figure in an instant. It's actually the Netherworld sect. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of seriousness. This was the second time he had heard of the Netherworld sect. The Netherworld sect was one of the 5 great martial way holy lands in the 8 Desolates region. It was also the most mysterious martial way holy lands. Previously, in the fearsome Beast Mountain range, they had plotted against the Great Xian Empress, Ji Feishuan, and even started a rebellion in the Great Xian Ancient Kingdom. Who would have thought that the true identity of the Underworld sect is actually the Netherworld sect? The Underworld sect and the Netherworld sect are indeed of the same origin. It seems like they are plotting something big for the Great Desolation Dragon Vein. The rebellion that the Netherworld sect started in the Great Xian Ancient Kingdom might also be for the Great Xian Dragon Vein. Ling Xiao muttered to himself. He felt an inexplicable sense of danger. Mo Wuji should be an important figure in the Netherworld sect. Otherwise, it would be impossible for a noble realm expert to leave a primordial spirit brand in his soul. Although he knew that the Underworld sect was the Netherworld sect, it was still a mystery as to why they were plotting against the Dragon Vein. Ling Xiao vaguely felt that this was a very important matter that he had to figure out. Far away from the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, there was a huge mountain range that was shrouded in yellow mist all year round. The mountain range was filled with a ghostly aura. There were many black palaces, and there was even an army of ghost slaves and skeletons. They walked out of the mountain range and lined up to train their soldiers. There were black rocks all around, and there was a large yellow lake in the center of the mountain range. It emitted a mysterious aura. At this moment, an old man in a black robe slowly floated up from the yellow lake. His entire body emitted a monstrous aura. The old man looked very strange. He was surrounded by a ghostly aura. He wore a ferocious mask on his face, and his sunken eyes seemed to have a ghostly fire dancing in them. Anyone who saw him would shudder in fear. Mo Wuji is dead, an old and hoarse voice rang out, and a strange fluctuation spread out. Swoosh! 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 Suddenly, dozens of figures in black robes flew across the sky. The black robes were embroidered with the shape of skeletons. It was eerie and terrifying. The dozens of black-robed figures had powerful auras. Their faces could not be seen clearly, but their eyes were cold and emotionless. They stood at the side of the yellow lake and bowed to the masked old man. "Greetings, Supreme Elder." The masked old man's body suddenly emitted a terrifying black light. His eyes seemed to be shooting out black flames of anger, as if they were going to burn the void. "Mo Wuji is my successor. I want to see who dares to spoil my plans. This time, I will make everyone in the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom pay with their lives." The masked old man stood up. Ghostly aura surged around his body. It was as if countless ghosts were wailing and wolves were howling. A terrifying aura that swept across the heavens and earth spread out. On a mountain peak in the distance, there was a majestic black palace. A very strange young man slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were flowing with a gorgeous light. "Is that trash Mo Wuji dead? There is one less threat. That place is about to open. When I master my divine technique, I will crush all the geniuses in the 8 desolations and become the lord of the netherworld. Sun God, Moon God, Dragon Son, Jade Lake Saintess. I can't wait." Chapter 313. Ling Xiao did not know what had happened in the underworld sect. He left the stone room and gave the peach elixirs to Meng Ao and Lu Xiongfei. He also gave one to Master Jiaomu and Li Ling. "Young master, you can already refine supreme grade elixirs. This is incredible." Lu Xiongfei and Meng Ao were in disbelief when they saw the peach of immortality elixir in their hands. Ling Juechen and Pure's son spiritual master were the only 2 supreme grade alchemy masters in the entire Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. Ling Xiao was only 16 years old, but he was already a supreme grade alchemy master. It was like a dream to them. "Uncle Meng, Uncle Lu, take it. This peach elixir has the miraculous effect of reviving the dead. It can also improve your martial Dao foundation. It might even help your cultivation," Ling Xiao said with a smile. "Okay." Meng Ao and Lu Xiongfei nodded excitedly. Their hearts were filled with anticipation. They quickly found a secret room and prepared to refine the peach elixir. After Ling Xiao gave the peach elixirs to Master Jiaomu and Li Ling, they saw a dazzling golden light enveloping them. Majestic life essence surged and slowly repaired the meridians in their bodies. There was also a kind of rebirth power that made their physiques undergo miraculous changes. Buzz! Wisps of mysterious substance from the peach elixir entered their bodies. Master Jiaomu and Li Ling were shrouded in a dazzling light. Their injuries began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. This change lasted for 2 hours. When Master Jiaomu and Li Ling opened their eyes, a powerful aura began to spread out. Their eyes were filled with incomparable surprise and joy. Master Jiaomu's cultivation had risen to the peak of 9th level of the Grandmaster realm. He was only 1 step away from the celestial realm. Li Ling had also made great progress. He had broken through to the 2nd level of the celestial realm. The sword essence around him became purer and more condensed. "Thank you, Saint." "Thank you, Master." Li Ling and Jiaomu bowed to Ling Xiao. Their eyes were filled with gratitude. They knew that it was all thanks to Ling Xiao. Otherwise, they would not have been able to survive, let alone recover from their injuries and improve their cultivation. "You're welcome. We're all on the same side. Speaking of which, I've implicated you this time. I didn't expect the 1,000 Beasts sect and the underworld to be so crazy." Ling Xiao sighed and said. "What are you talking about, Holy Son? My cultivation is still too weak. I can't even stop a few sky-rank assassins. However, this underworld is very secretive. They are hidden in the dark. What a headache. Holy Son, you must be careful." Li Ling's eyes revealed a trace of shame as he spoke solemnly. "Ha ha ha. Elder Li." A burst of laughter came from outside. Meng Ao and Lu Xiongfei had also come out of seclusion. Their arms and legs had grown out, and their temperament had become stronger. Moreover, their cultivation had improved, reaching the peak of the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm. They were only a step away from entering the celestial being realm. Meng Ao and Lu Xiongfei looked at Ling Xiao gratefully. They did not say anything. After all, they were loyal to Ling Zhen. Now, they were ready to sell their lives to Ling Xiao. Destroy the underworld? Kill the Tiger King? What happened when we were unconscious? Looks like we've missed a good show. Li Ling and Master Jiao Mu looked at each other with shock in their eyes. When Lu Xiongfei and Meng Ao told them what had happened after they were unconscious, they looked at Ling Xiao with surprise and disbelief. Ling Xiao's growth was too fast. They did not expect Ling Xiao's strength to change so drastically after returning from the 8 Baron secret zone. Now, he could even kill a celestial realm expert. In the Imperial Mausoleum, with the help of the dragon bloodline, he could explode with the power of a noble realm expert. This kind of Ling Xiao made them feel unfamiliar, but they also felt incomparably excited. Son of Saint, you're really a monster. When you first came to the Imperial City, you were only in the Dragon Tiger realm. In the blink of an eye, you broke through to the Grandmaster realm and have the combat strength to crush a celestial realm expert. Looks like even I might not be your match, Holy Son. Li Ling said with a bitter smile. He felt a sense of defeat in his heart. Sky Sword Li Ling was also a peerless genius of the Great Baron Ancient Kingdom. He had awakened the Sky Sword bloodline. His sword will was unparalleled, and his combat strength was extraordinary. However, when he faced Ling Xiao, he also felt a lot of pressure. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His current combat strength had indeed undergone an earth-shattering change compared to before he had entered the Ba Huang secret land. With the Heaven-Devouring secret skill, Ancestral Dragon secret skill, Teleportation secret skill, 7 Limits divine technique, and Heaven-Devouring sword, from his previous life, Ling Xiao's battle prowess could no longer be described by his cultivation base. Of course, Ling Xiao knew the main reason. It was because the 8 Desolation region was a small place after all, and it didn't even have many experts at the Noble Realm, let alone Monarch Realm experts and Supreme Exalts who were renowned throughout the world. In the distant War God continent, that was where the true geniuses competed. There were all kinds of young kings, young paragons, and even innate gods. They even mastered Tian-class martial arts and paragon martial arts. Such people were favored by the heavens and earth. That was where Ling Xiao was going to fight. Boom! At this moment, a powerful aura shot up into the sky, causing the earth to tremble slightly. The entire Demon King's mansion was enveloped by a vast, ancient, and domineering saber chi. The heavens will was like a saber, and the divine might was like hell. The myriad calamity heavenly saber was added to the body. It was a sharp and domineering aura that came from the bloodline. The heavenly saber bloodline has awakened. Ling Feng is coming out of seclusion. Ha ha ha. Ling Xiao laughed loudly. His eyes were filled with anticipation as he walked out of the room. Li Ling and the rest were stunned for a moment before they hurriedly followed him out. They also wanted to see how terrifying the Heavenly Blade bloodline was for Ling Xiao to value it so highly. Especially Li Ling. He had the Heavenly Sword bloodline, while Ling Feng had the Heavenly Saber bloodline. He naturally wanted to compete with Ling Feng. Since ancient times, the sword was the king of all weapons, and the saber was the ancestor of all weapons. Sword cultivators and saber cultivators were the 2 strongest types of martial artists. Therefore, when sword cultivators and saber cultivators met, there would be a battle. Boom! The small courtyard where Ling Feng was cultivating in seclusion seemed to have been swept by millions of saber radiances. It was completely turned into ruins. Chapter 314. The saber radiated an unparalleled sharpness, causing the void to tremble and ripple. An extremely pure saber essence filled the air, exuding an ancient and domineering aura. Ling Feng seemed to have turned into a peerless divine saber, becoming the center of the universe. The Heavenly Saber bloodline has been completely awakened. Level 6 Grandmaster Realm. Not bad. There was a look of admiration in Ling Xiao's eyes. Leng Feng's performance had already exceeded his expectations. It seemed like Leng Feng's Heavenly Saber bloodline was purer and more powerful than he had imagined. Buzz! Leng Feng opened his eyes abruptly. His gaze was as sharp as a saber, piercing through the endless void. Holy Sun, take my Azura's 10th saber. Leng Feng's voice rang out, accompanied by an unparalleled saber chi. The saber radiance above Leng Feng's head instantly turned snow-white, like a silver river descending from the sky, descending toward Ling Xiao. Meng Ao, Lu Xiongfei, and Master Jiaomu were shocked by the strong fighting spirit and the terrifying saber essence that could crush everything. Azura's 10th saber. Great! Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. The Azura saber skill originally had 8 sabers, a black-class peerless martial technique. Later on, Leng Feng had derived the 9th saber and it had become an inferior earth-class martial technique. Ling Xiao did not expect Leng Feng to derive the 10th saber after the awakening of the Heavenly Saber bloodline. That kind of invincible power that could crush everything made Ling Xiao feel a trace of threat. However, it was only a slight threat. When the unparalleled saber radiance descended from the sky, Ling Xiao made his move. A simple punch was thrown. Boom! Golden lightning surged and exploded in the void. Ling Xiao's fist was like an ancient divine mountain, containing a vast and unparalleled power, accompanied by a mysterious dragon's might. Although the 10th saber skill was powerful, it still exploded under Ling Xiao's punch. Unparalleled divine radiance swept out in all directions. Leng Feng's body trembled slightly, and he retreated a dozen steps. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. He had thought that after awakening the Heavenly Saber bloodline and comprehending the 10th saber skill, he would be able to put up a fight against Ling Xiao. However, he had not expected to be defeated so easily. Moreover, Leng Feng could sense that Ling Xiao had only used his physical strength in that punch. He did not use his Qi Gang. Otherwise, Leng Feng would not have been pushed back so easily. Holy Sun, I didn't expect that I would still be no match for you after awakening the Heavenly Blade bloodline. It seems like the Holy Sun's trip to the 8 desolate mystic realm this time has undergone an earth-shaking change. Leng Feng said with a bitter smile. There was a trace of shock in his eyes. He thought that he was already considered a monster by cultivating in seclusion for a month and breaking through from LV1 to LV6 of the Grandmaster realm. Previously, Ling Xiao was only at the 3rd level of the Dragon Tiger realm. Now, he was already at the 1st level of the Grandmaster realm. Your Skyblade bloodline is very pure. In terms of combat power alone, your current combat power is not inferior to Shi Skyfall's. However, your potential is greater than his. Although the Azura's 10th blade is powerful, comparable to a mid-grade earth-grade martial art, it is still too weak. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. With his current battle prowess, if Shi Tianlua was standing in front of him, he could easily kill him. Therefore, even though the Azura's 10th blade was not bad, it wasn't a threat to Ling Xiao. This is the manual of the 10 Annihilation Slash. It is a high-grade heaven-grade martial art that is most suitable for the Skyblade bloodline. Cultivate it well and don't bring shame to it. Ling Xiao passed the manual of the 10 Annihilation Slash to Leng Feng. 10 Annihilation Slash. Leng Feng's body shook, and there was a trace of disbelief in his eyes. Even though he didn't know what the 10 Annihilation Slash was, he understood that it was a high-grade heaven-grade martial art. The strongest martial art in the ancient kingdom of Great Desolation was a low-grade heaven-rank martial art. He hadn't expected Ling Xiao to use a high-grade heaven-rank martial art right off the bat. Even if it was created in the sacred grounds of the martial Tao, it would still be considered a sect's ultimate martial art. It wasn't something that ordinary people could come into contact with. The 10 Annihilation Slash was created 10,000 years ago by a Saber Emperor who possessed the Skyblade bloodline. Even though the Saber Emperor was only at the 9th level of the Monarch realm, he had once used the 10 Annihilation Slash to kill and exalt So, the 10 annihilation slash is of the same origin as you. Speaking of which, you should thank Chen Fengdao for obtaining this martial art. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He did not hide the origin of the 10 annihilation slash. He explained how he obtained the 10 annihilation slash. Chen Fengdao is really unlucky. Such a peerless martial art was given to the young master in the end. If he finds out, he'll probably vomit blood and die. Meng Ao and Lu Xiongfei opened their eyes wide with disbelief. Holy Son, Chen Fengdao cultivated the 10 annihilation slash as well. If that's the case, I really want to experience it. If I'm able to kill Chen Fengdao with the 10 annihilation slash, I'll be able to comfort my father's soul in heaven. A trace of cold light and killing intent appeared in Ling Feng's eyes. Speaking of which, I don't know where Chen Fengdao is after returning to the capital. Xia Yunran and Chen Weishan are dead, so Chen Fengdao isn't a threat. Uncle Meng, investigate Chen Fengdao's whereabouts and hand him over to Ling Feng. Ling Xiao smiled lightly. Don't worry, young master. Chen Fengdao won't be able to escape. Meng Ao grinned. Ling Feng looked at Ling Xiao gratefully. Not only did Ling Xiao give him hope for revenge, but he also awakened the Heavenly Blade bloodline for him. He even passed on the 10 annihilation slash, a peerless martial art. He was completely loyal to Ling Xiao. Cultivate well. Ling Xiao patted Ling Feng's shoulder and smiled faintly. Ling Feng was extremely talented, and his martial arts willpower was firm. Ling Xiao planned to nurture him well. In the future, he would definitely become the cornerstone of the Changsun sect. After the demon mansion was cleansed by Ling Zhao's ruthless methods, there were only a few dozen Ling family members left. Most of them were from the side branches. They were once ostracized and framed by Ling Yunxiang. Therefore, after joining Ling Xiao, they were considered loyal. As for these people, Ling Xiao planned to nurture them. After the demon mansion went through a bloody baptism, it began to exude a majestic vitality. Ling Xiao went into seclusion in the demon mansion for 3 days, stabilizing his cultivation. After all, his breakthroughs were too fast. Although he had accumulated a lot, Ling Xiao still checked carefully to ensure that there were no problems with his martial arts foundation. Mo Wuji's storage ring was obtained by Ling Xiao. The contents of the ring shocked Ling Xiao. There were more than 5 million spirit crystals. All kinds of spiritual equipment and treasured equipment added up to more than 1,000 pieces. There were also many precious spiritual herbs, spiritual pills, and the name list of the assassins of hell. With this name list, the entire hell in the Great Desolation ancient country can be completely eradicated. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. He hated the assassins of hell to the core. If he could eliminate them completely, he naturally didn't want to leave any loose ends behind. He believed that after handing this name list to Xia Huang, he would settle this matter properly. Chapter 315. Finally, Ling Zhao's eyes fell on a black nail. Dubhe murderous soul nail. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. Just as he expected, the most important Dubhe murderous soul nail was in Mo Wuji's storage ring. There were many treasures in Mo Wuji's storage ring, but Ling Xiao valued this Dubhe murderous soul nail the most. Dubhe murderous soul nail, the 7-star murderous soul nails are finally gathered. Mo Wuji has treasures but he doesn't know it. This set of 7-star murderous soul nails is the most precious treasure. Ling Xiao sighed softly as a trace of excitement appeared in his eyes. 10,000 years ago, Ling Xiao knew the value of the murderous soul nails. They were treasures passed down from ancient times. There were a total of 360 of them, and they were in the shape of Zhou Tian. It was said that when all 360 murderous soul nails were gathered, they could erupt with power comparable to the best supreme weapon. Although there were only 7 7-star murderous soul nails in Ling Zhao's hands, they could form a set. The flow of energy between them was comparable to a low-grade Dao weapon. The murderous soul nails were treasures that targeted the soul and primordial spirit. After refining the 7-star murderous soul nails, Ling Xiao was confident that he could even severely injure the martial primordial spirit of a noble realm expert. The 7-star murderous soul nails could be said to be another powerful trump card of Ling Xiao. Buzz! Ling Xiao's primordial spirit flashed, and the 7 murderous soul nails were swept into his sea of consciousness. The power of primordial spirit spread, and he began to refine and nurture them. There should be other murderous soul nails in the underworld sect. If I can gather all 28 murderous soul nails, with the power of the 28 constellations, I'm confident that I can destroy the primordial spirit of a noble realm expert. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness as he thought to himself. 3 days later, Ling Xiao came out of seclusion. Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Pure Sun's spiritual master came to the Demon King's mansion together, bringing incomparably exciting news. Ling Xiao, the secret realm in the fearsome Beast Mountain range is about to open. Xia Huang and the other two followed Ling Xiao into the secret chamber, their eyes revealed a trace of excitement. And according to my calculations, that secret realm is very likely to be the longevity secret realm left behind by the longevity sect 10,000 years ago. Reverend Pure Yang's wise eyes shone brightly. Is it finally going to open? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat, and a nostalgic look appeared in his eyes. From Ling Xiao's point of view, it wasn't very likely. That secret realm was the secret realm of longevity, and the ancient jade that recorded the soul-returning pellet was left behind by an expert from the longevity sect. Moreover, there was an imprint of 10,000 years on it. Others might not be able to tell, but to Ling Xiao, it wasn't difficult at all. What's the specific situation? Ling Xiao asked Xia Huang and the other two. Xia Huang smiled bitterly and said, the secret realm in the fierce Beast Mountain range was accidentally discovered by me, Zhu Chen, Pure Yang's spiritual master, and your father. The ancient jade of the resurrection pill was also obtained from there. Originally, we thought that only the 4 of us knew about it. However, we didn't expect that the other holy lands of the martial Tao had already known about it. It was only because it wasn't the time to open it that they didn't act rashly. Do you know why the Wan Shou sect came to the capital? It wasn't just because they wanted to investigate the death of a celestial being elder of the Wan Shou sect. More importantly, it was because of the secret realm. Moreover, these days, the spatial fluctuations from the fierce Beast Mountain range have been getting stronger and stronger. Therefore, we speculate that the secret realm will open in the next few days. Moreover, the Wan Shou sect, Sun Moon Stars sect, Terminator Demon sect, and Jade Lake sect are all rushing to the fierce Beast Mountain range. Apart from the most mysterious underworld sect, almost all the experts from the holy lands of the martial Tao and the 4 ancient kingdoms are coming. Ling Xiao nodded. Xia Huang and the other two originally wanted to make a fortune in secret. After breaking through to the noble realm, they would go to the secret realm to search for treasures. However, they didn't expect everyone to know about it. One could imagine how depressed they were. It seemed that the moon god's main purpose in coming to the capital was the secret realm of longevity. In Mara's memory, Ling Xiao saw countless extraterrestrial demons descending and scenes of bloody battles in the longevity sect. However, in this life, he didn't feel the existence of the secret realm of longevity. He guessed that it must have been sealed by Jinsei. Perhaps Jinsei really did leave some information or something in the secret realm of longevity. Therefore, Ling Xiao had to go to the secret realm of longevity. In the longevity secret territory, there were countless precious spiritual herbs, divine weapons, and precious martial arts. These were the foundation of the longevity sect, and they belonged to the longevity sect. If those holy lands dared to have any ideas, Ling Xiao wouldn't mind teaching them a lesson. Therefore, we plan to go to the fierce Beast Mountain range immediately. Once the secret realm opens, we'll go in and seize the opportunity. 10,000 years ago, the longevity sect ruled the world. They had countless noble realm and monarch realm experts. They even had several supremes who were renowned throughout the world. Especially the strongest man in the world 10,000 years ago, the sky-devouring supreme. If we can obtain some of the inheritances, not to mention the noble realm, the monarch realm will be nothing. Xia Huang's eyes were burning with ambition. There was a trace of excitement in his voice. After all, the secret realm of longevity was too shocking. It was much more powerful than the 8 Desolation secret realm. If the 8 Desolation region wasn't so remote and far from the War God continent, those supremes of the War God continent probably wouldn't be able to sit still. If they could obtain the inheritances of the sky-devouring supreme and the longevity sect, they would have a chance to reach the legendary titled supremes. They would stand at the peak of the human Tao and touch the legendary God realm. Supremes were immortal for 10,000 years, and gods were immortal. Such a temptation was enough to make anyone go crazy. Alright, since that's the case, let's return to the longevity sect first. Now that the fierce Beast Mountain range is in turmoil and experts have gathered, I'm afraid that something will happen to the longevity sect. It's hard to guarantee that no one will be foolish enough to do so. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a hint of sharpness, and he was slightly worried. The longevity sect was too weak after all. Even with the protection of the longevity god's sealing formation, it was difficult to resist the noble realm experts of the holy lands of the martial Tao. Especially the Path Understanding Tree, they couldn't let the holy lands of the martial Tao know about it. Ling Juqin smiled and said, Ling Xiao, don't worry. The Sun Moon Star sect and the longevity sect have some relations. I heard that the moon goddess has already gone to the longevity sect. With the Sun Moon Star sect there, no one will be foolish enough to do so. The moon goddess? Ling Xiao nodded his head. Even though Ling Xiao could not see through this mysterious woman, she would probably protect the Changsan men on account of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, Xia Huang, and Ling Ju discussed for a while and finally decided to set off immediately. Xia Huang, Ling Ju Chen, and Pure Sun's spiritual master each brought one person. They were Xia Hongxiu, Ling Qingqing, and Master Jiaomu. Chapter 316. Ling Xiao decided to bring Li Ling and Ling Feng back. Meng Ao had already been conferred the title of Grand Marshal by Xia Huang and was in charge of the million-strong army of the Great Desolation ancient country as well as the most elite royal guards. Lu Xiongfei was also conferred the title of Prime Minister and was in charge of internal affairs. Ling Xiao knew that Xia Huang wanted to maintain a good relationship with him for his sake. Ling Xiao accepted such good intentions and left enough spiritual crystals and spiritual pills for Meng Ao and Lu Xiongfei. As long as there were no accidents, they would be able to break through to the celestial realm very soon. At the same time, Ling Xiao also taught Meng Ao a heaven-class middle-class martial art, Universal Demon Subduing Halberd. It complemented Meng Ao's halberd perfectly. On the other hand, Ling Xiao left the Tiger Soul Divine Saber Slash and Tiger Soul Divine Saber Slash to Lu Xiongfei. Lu Xiongfei was skilled in both the sword and the flying saber, but his natural talent in the saber Dao was even stronger. If he were to cultivate the Tiger Soul Divine Saber Slash to perfection, then it wouldn't be impossible for him to break through into the royal realm or even the monarch realm in the future. After arranging everything, Ling Xiao brought Ling Feng and Li Ling to meet up with Xia Huang and the rest, preparing to head to the Changsan sect. Whoosh! A gigantic dragon-shaped ancient sword soared into the sky like a divine rainbow. Its speed was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, it disappeared from the sky above the capital. The dragon-shaped ancient sword was the Great Desolation Dragon Sword, a mid-grade Dao artifact. It was the strongest divine weapon in the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom and also Xia Huang's personal sword. The Great Desolation Dragon Sword under Ling Zhao's feet was filled with dragon might. It was like a giant dragon crossing the heavens, and its speed was extremely fast. Holy Sun, my mother asked me to pass this to you. Ling Feng walked to Ling Zhao's side and handed him a map. The ink on the map was still wet, so it must have been drawn not long ago. This is the location of the cold miasma. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, instantly recognizing the map that Ling Feng had given him. On it was a detailed record of the place where Ling Feng's parents had accidentally entered the cold miasma. Saint, is there any treasure at the location of the cold miasma? Ling Feng asked curiously. Ling Xiao smiled slightly and said, there are some spirit medicines that are very important to me. Help me thank Madame Leng. Ling Feng waved his hand and said, the Holy Sun is too polite. My mother said that it's her honor to be able to help the Holy Sun. Ling Xiao smiled. With this map, he would be able to find the 9 heaven spiritual herb very quickly. By then, he would be able to make another breakthrough in the secret skill of the ancestral dragon. The third level of the body of the flying dragon had the ability to fly and burrow into the ground. When combined with the secret teleportation technique, even noble plane cultivators would find it difficult to match Ling Xiao's speed. The valley where the cold miasma is located is not far from here. I can take a look along the way. Ling Xiao looked at the map carefully and told Xia Huang his idea. Xia Huang naturally had no objections. The great desolation dragon sword flashed and rushed towards the endless ferocious beast mountain range below. Just as Ling Xiao was following the map and heading towards the valley where the frosty miasma was located, Ling Xiao suddenly stopped. Vicious Beast Mountain Range. Zhao Ritian was dressed in a golden robe with a jade crown on his head. He was riding a unicorn covered in red scales. He looked extremely flashy. Second uncle, are you saying that this ferocious beast mountain range really has the 9 heaven spirit dissolving herb? That is the supreme king herb. Even our sun-moon star sect only has a few of them. Zhao Ritian muttered to himself as he rode on the unicorn at an extremely fast speed. Don't worry. If I say there is the 9 heaven spiritual herb, there will definitely be it. When you get the 9 heaven spiritual herb, you will be able to completely transform your soul into the legendary pure yang primordial spirit. By then, your holy body of the sun will be completely awakened. The small 8 desolation region will be nothing to you. By then, even honorable plane cultivators will have to kneel before you. An old voice came from Zhao Ritian's body as he chuckled. Zhao Ritian's eyes revealed a hint of excitement as he said, Second uncle, do I really have such a powerful body? The legendary holy body of the sun is a natural-born honorable plane cultivator. I feel that my talent in alchemy is slightly stronger, but my talent in martial arts isn't that strong. I'm far weaker than my elder brother. What is your elder brother? At most, he has the 9 sun bloodline that is comparable to a king. Moreover, it is not pure. It is far weaker than your holy body of the sun. Listen to your second uncle. Once your holy body of the sun is completely awakened, you will be invincible in the world. There was a hint of disdain in the old voice. Really? Second uncle? That's great. Zhao Ritian was so excited that his face turned red. I knew it. I, Zhao Ritian, am a peerless genius. In the future, I will definitely become a peerless honorable plane cultivator. I will be invincible in the world. Once I awaken my holy body of the sun, I will definitely defeat that kid Ling Xiao and vent my anger. Ling Xiao. That kid is not simple. Don't provoke him. The old voice said. Second uncle, don't worry. I will ignore him for now. Once I awaken my holy body of the sun, I will settle the score with him. That kid is too arrogant. I have never seen anyone more arrogant than I, Zhao Ritian. Zhao Ritian snorted coldly as his eyes were filled with anger. We have arrived at the frigid miasma land. The old voice was a little speechless. Suddenly, he felt a mysterious aura and exclaimed in surprise. In front of Zhao Ritian, there were a few mountains that pierced through the clouds. They were majestic. Countless ancient trees stood tall and gave off a desolate aura. Between the mountains, there was a mysterious valley. It was shrouded in a layer of white mist that drifted in all directions. The surroundings were very quiet. There was not a single sound from any living being. Second uncle, is the nine heavens spiritual herb that you mentioned in this valley? Zhao Ritian pulled on the reins of the unicorn, his eyes gleaming with eagerness. This unicorn was a peak rank 5 demonic beast. It had the bloodline of an archaic species. Although it was very thin, it was very powerful. It was the second uncle who helped him tame it. That's right. It is this valley. However, you have to be careful. This frigid miasma is very strange. If it enters your body, it will be very troublesome. The second uncle warned. Don't worry. I, Zhao Ritian, am a martial artist. What is a mere frigid miasma to me? Zhao Ritian was very showy. His eyes were filled with arrogance as he rode the unicorn into the valley. Buzz! The white frigid miasma contained a trace of cold aura. As if it had sensed the presence of a living being, it began to ripple and enveloped Zhao Ritian. Scram! Zhao Ritian shouted coldly. Instantly, blazing flames rose around his body. Red clouds surrounded him and emitted a faint golden light. It was as if the void was trembling slightly. It was the scorching sun heavenly fire that Zhao Ritian had refined. The scorching sun heavenly fire seemed to be the nemesis of the frigid miasma. The white frigid miasma retreated instantly, opening up a path. Second uncle, my scorching sun heavenly fire is not bad, right? Zhao Ritian smiled proudly. It is not bad. I forgot that you have refined the heavenly fire. This is even better. When you get the nine heavens spiritual herb, I will teach you the method to refine the legendary Great Sun Dao pill. I guarantee that you will be able to transform into a pure yang primordial spirit. The second uncle said with a smile. Thank you, second uncle. Second uncle, you are the best to me. Big brother only knows how to cultivate. He has never cared about me. Zhao Ritian said emotionally. Ah. Silly child. Who asked me to be your second uncle? Let's go. Chapter 317. The valley that was enveloped by the cold miasma was not as dangerous as Zhao Ritian had imagined. Instead, it was filled with flowers and ancient trees. It was like a fairyland. Ancient vines curled about within the valley. The ancient trees were tall and strong, exuding an exuberant vitality. Above the distant cliff, a snow-white waterfall flowed down 3,000 feet. It released rumbling sounds as it landed in the deep pool below. Second elder, where is the nine heavens spiritual herb? Didn't they say that the nine heavens spiritual herb grows in places where the stars gather? Places of extreme yin and extreme cold. Why is this place different from what we imagined? Zhao Ritian looked at the valley in front of him curiously. There was no cold aura in the valley. Instead, there was a gentle aura that spread out, making one feel warm all over. Extreme yin begets yang, extreme yang star energy. This place is indeed a treasure trove. Ritian, if I'm not wrong, the nine heavens spiritual herb should be behind the waterfall. Go and bring it back. This is the best place for you to break through to the pure yang primordial spirit. However, the nine heavens spiritual herb is a king herb. It will definitely be guarded by powerful demonic beasts. You have to be careful. Second elder warned. Is it under the waterfall? Don't worry, second elder. I'll be careful. Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up. He rode the unicorn to the side of the waterfall in an instant. Then, he leaped behind the waterfall. As the snow-white waterfall fell, the water splashed and rumbled like thunder. Endless water vapor filled the air, emitting an icy chill. After Zhao Ritian entered the waterfall, he immediately shivered. He felt that his body was about to freeze. The waterfall seemed to contain an extreme cold energy that was bone-chilling. Don't worry. The chill in the waterfall is the extreme yin energy. It won't do you any harm. The nine heavens spiritual herb is there. Go and get it. Second elder's voice carried a hint of excitement. On the black stone wall below the waterfall, there was a stone platform. There was a faint light surrounding it. A silver grass grew on the stone platform. The grass was emitting a silver glow. Its leaves were as delicate as jade and emitted a faint fragrance. It was as if countless stars were flowing on it. It really is the 9 heavens spiritual grass. Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with excitement. He leaped forward and reached out his hand to grab the silver grass. Be careful. Zhao Ritian also felt a sense of crisis at the same time when second uncle's voice was heard. Rumble. Behind him, a cold, murderous aura filled the air. Furthermore, a silver ray of light shot across the sky and landed on Zhao Ritian's back. It emitted a majestic force and sent him flying. Wang! Runes flickered on Zhao Ritian's body. His golden robe shone brightly, emitting an incomparably strong defensive power. That was why he was not injured. Only then did Zhao Ritian realize that a huge silver python had appeared behind him. It was more than 100 feet long and its body was covered in dazzling silver scales. Its pair of blood-red eyes were staring at Zhao Ritian with a murderous aura. In particular, there was a silver sarcoma on its head. Silver thunder python? Who would have thought that there would be such a demonic beast? It seems like it wants to wait until the 9 heavens spiritual grass is fully matured before swallowing it to degenerate into a thunder dragon. How ambitious! However, it's only at the peak of rank 5. It's not a threat. Ritian, go and kill it. Second uncle's surprised voice was heard as he explained the situation to Zhao Ritian. It turned out that the silver thunder python possessed a trace of the immemorial thunder dragon's bloodline. It was considered an immemorial mutant and could control lightning. It was extremely powerful. The 9 heavens spiritual grass had a magical effect on the silver thunder python. It could possibly activate its thunder dragon's bloodline and completely transform it into a dragon. The 9 heavens spiritual grass belongs to me, Zhao Ritian. Die! Zhao Ritian snorted coldly. He was unhappy that he was ambushed by the silver thunder python. Suddenly, a snow-white battle saber appeared in his hand. It emitted a dazzling light and a strong saber intent. It slashed towards the silver thunder python. Rumble. The silver thunder python let out a long hiss and whipped its tail across the sky. It was emitting silver lightning at an extremely fast speed. When the battle saber landed on the silver thunder python's body, the sound of metal clashing could be heard. Sparks flew and Zhao Ritian's arm went numb. The battle saber almost flew out of his hand. Boom! The silver thunder python spat out a silver lightning ball towards Ling Xiao. Zhao Ritian's eyes widened. Without hesitation, he threw a punch. The scorching sun heavenly fire gathered around his fist. The fire instantly engulfed the lightning ball and exploded it. A mysterious and ancient aura emanated from Zhao Ritian's body. It instantly suppressed the silver thunder python, emitting an aura that made one's soul tremble. The silver thunder python, which was initially ferocious, trembled. A trace of fear could be seen in its eyes. When Zhao Ritian saw the opportunity, he slashed down with his saber. The snow-white saber light drowned the silver thunder python. It emitted traces of blood and many of the scales on the silver thunder python's body were shattered. Kill the silver thunder python. Its demonic pill is extremely precious. It will benefit you greatly. You must not let it escape. The second elder had just used his aura to suppress the silver thunder python. His voice was weak as he spoke. Don't worry, second elder. I'll definitely kill it. Zhao Ritian pulled himself together and said confidently. The aura suppression from the second elder seemed to contain a force that could directly attack one's soul. The silver thunder python looked at Zhao Ritian with less ferocity. Instead, there was a trace of fear in its eyes. Boom! The silver thunder python swept its tail again. After sending Zhao Ritian flying, it turned into a silver light and fled towards the bottom of the waterfall. Where do you think you're going? Zhao Ritian was enraged. He held his battle saber and his golden robe emitted a dazzling light. He chased after the silver thunder python and entered the deep pool under the waterfall. Rumble. The water vapor surged and the saber light flashed in the deep pool. However, it soon returned to normal. Zhao Ritian chased after the silver thunder python into the depths of the pool. Swoosh! At this moment, a golden lightning flashed across the sky. It pierced through the cold poison outside the valley and entered the valley. Extreme yin begets yang. Extreme yang star energy. This is indeed the place where the 9 heavens spiritual herb grows. If I'm not wrong, the 9 heavens spiritual herb should be behind the waterfall. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of excitement. In his hand, the qi drawing stone emitted a silver light that flickered between light and dark. The qi drawing stone that Ji Feishuan gave him contained a trace of the 9 heavens spiritual herb's aura. As long as he was within 1,000 feet of the 9 heavens spiritual herb, the qi drawing stone would light up. Ling Xiao asked Xia Huang and the rest to wait for him outside the valley while he entered the valley with the qi drawing stone. Indeed, he found the 9 heavens spiritual herb. Ling Xiao leaped up and used the sky-devouring secret skill. His aura was completely concealed as he flew towards the waterfall. Ling Xiao knew that the 9 heavens spiritual herb was the king of herbs. It would be best if he could obtain the 9 heavens spiritual herb without anyone noticing. Otherwise, there would be a fierce battle. Unicorn? Could it be that someone else has entered this place? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he saw the unicorn beside the waterfall. His eyes lit up and he flew towards the back of the waterfall at an even faster speed. Chapter 318. In the valley, a huge waterfall flowed down. After Ling Xiao leaped into the waterfall, he immediately saw the silver blade of grass on the black cliff. It really is the 9 heavens spiritual grass. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with joy. However, he was very cautious and did not immediately pick the grass. Instead, he carefully sensed the surroundings with the power of his soul. He did not discover any danger. Strange, this 9 heavens spiritual grass doesn't have any demonic beasts guarding it. Who left the unicorn behind? Ling Xiao found it strange, but he still leaped onto the stone platform. The 9 heavens spiritual grass shone with a brilliant silver light. Its leaves were sparkling and translucent, and its fragrance wafted into his nose. It looked very delicate. Ling Xiao carefully picked the 9 heavens spiritual grass and placed it in a jade box. He placed it in his longevity ring. With this 9 heavens spiritual grass, I just need to gather a few other spiritual herbs and I can begin to break through to the body of the flying dragon. Then, I'll be able to fly. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with anticipation. Although his heaven-devouring qi was very dense and could allow him to fly for a short period of time, he could not fly for long periods of time or long distances. Cultivators cultivated martial arts and comprehended everything in the world. Being able to fly and break free from the shackles of the earth was an irresistible temptation to everyone. Rumble. At that moment, the pool below began to tremble violently. Endless waves of water surged into the sky and exploded in the air. A powerful ripple spread out. There are ripples of a battle. Could it be that someone is fighting in the pool? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he thought of the unicorn outside the waterfall. He guessed that the owner of the unicorn wanted to pick the 9 heavens spiritual grass and was attacked by the demonic beast. Were they fighting? Ling Zhao's lips curled into a strange smile. If that was really the case, then he was the one who picked the fruit. If the owner of the unicorn knew about this, he would definitely vomit blood in anger. Roar! Boom! A loud roar rang out, accompanied by an explosion that shook the sky. It was as if some powerful creature in the pool had self-destructed. The black pool was instantly dyed red. A dazzling stream of light soared into the sky and headed toward Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao waved his hand and the light landed in his palm. It turned into a dazzling silvery uphill. It looked like it was flowing with a beautiful light and there were traces of silver lightning around it. It was very strange. It's the demonic core of the thunder python? Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. From the color and aura of the monster core, he instantly recognized the origin of this monster core. The silver thunder python had a trace of the immemorial thunder dragon's bloodline. It could be considered an immemorial variant and was very powerful. Legend had it that if the bloodline was completely cleansed, it could even evolve into an immemorial thunder dragon. It's only right for the thunder silver python to protect the 9 heavens spiritual grass. Ling Xiao nodded. At this moment, the silver-ringed lightning snake on his wrist woke up. To be exact, it was awakened by the silver thunder python's Yaodan. It revealed a trace of urgency and desire. You want this Yao core? Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback. The silver-ringed lightning snake nodded repeatedly. Its eyes revealed a trace of human-like excitement. The silver-ringed lightning snake also had the bloodline of a true dragon and could control the power of lightning. The silver thunder python's Yaodan was very attractive to it. If it could completely refine it, it might be able to break through to the 5th rank. Alright, this Yao core is yours. Ling Xiao smiled and handed the silver thunder python's Yaodan to the silver-ringed lightning snake. The silver-ringed lightning snake excitedly and intimately rubbed against Ling Xiao's arm. Its body wrapped around the silver thunder python and began to extract and refine the energy of the Yaodan. Although the silver thunder python's Yaodan was precious, it was useless to Ling Xiao. However, it was very attractive to the silver-ringed lightning snake. It could be used to cultivate the silver-ringed lightning snake's strength and leave it for Shui Wei to protect herself in the future. Boom! At this moment, a wave exploded in the deep pool. Zhao Ritian, dressed in a golden robe and his black hair flying, rushed out of the pool. His eyes were full of arrogance. But in the next moment, his expression changed drastically. He saw Ling Xiao and the silver thunder python's Yaodan in his hand. Stop right there. Ling Xiao, why are you here? That silver thunder python's Yaodan is mine. Give it back to me. Zhao Ritian roared. His face was full of anger and his eyes were about to spit fire. Zhao Ritian fought with the thunder silver python. Although the thunder silver python was extremely strong, Zhao Ritian had the help of second uncle. In the end, he managed to suppress the thunder silver python. Who knew that the thunder silver python would rather die than submit? In the end, it would rather self-destruct than submit to Zhao Ritian. The silver thunder python exploded into pieces in the deep pool, leaving only a Yaodan behind. Zhao Ritian originally wanted to collect the spoils of war, but he did not expect that someone would pick the fruits of his labor. And this person was the person he hated the most, Ling Xiao. Zhao Ritian. Why are you here? Don't tell me that the unicorn outside is yours. This silver thunder python's Yaodan flew into my hand automatically. What does it have to do with you? Go play somewhere else. After seeing Zhao Ritian, Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. He did not expect to see Zhao Ritian here. And looking at Zhao Ritian's appearance, he was about to go crazy. Staring at the Yaodan in Ling Xiao's hand, he was filled with anger. Zhao Ritian was so angry that his whole body began to tremble. He pointed at Ling Xiao and said, Ling Xiao, that silver thunder python was killed by me. Its Yaodan is naturally mine. Why am I here has nothing to do with you. My 9 heavens spirit dissipation herb. Ah, Zhao Ritian's gaze landed on the stone platform. When he realized that the 9 heavens spirit dissipation herb was gone, his body froze. It was as if his whole family had been killed. He screamed as flames began to spurt out of his 7 orifices. Forget about the silver thunder python's Yaodan. The 9 heavens spirit dissipation herb was related to whether Zhao Ritian could achieve the pure yang primordial spirit. It was his life. Ling Xiao taking away the 9 heavens spirit dissipation herb was worse than killing him. Ling Xiao, I'll kill you. Zhao Ritian's eyes were red. His lungs were about to explode from anger. A surge of anger rushed to his head. Without thinking twice, he charged towards Ling Xiao. Swoosh! The blade in Zhao Ritian's hand emitted a blazing light. The blade light was unparalleled. It swept across the sky and slashed towards Ling Xiao. However, to Ling Xiao, this blade was not even comparable to Ling Feng's 10th blade of Azura. It was not a threat at all. Your blade technique is not bad. But it's still too weak. Ling Xiao's calm voice rang out. Then, he threw out a punch. The vast fist force came crashing down from the sky. It contained a majestic force that could crush everything. It was like a divine mountain pressing down. It was unstoppable. Chapter 319. Boom! Ling Xiao's punch broke through the layers of saber qi and landed on the battle saber. Instantly, a dazzling divine light shone brightly. A vast and unparalleled force came through, causing Zhao Ritian's expression to change drastically. He spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying by Ling Xiao, crashing into the deep pool below. Cough, cough, Zhao Ritian rushed out from the deep pool. Although the golden robe on his body had blocked most of the force, Ling Xiao's punch was too terrifying. It had injured his internal organs. This punch had also awakened Zhao Ritian's anger. He was both shocked and furious. He could not believe his eyes. How did Ling Xiao become stronger again? That punch was as brilliant as the heavens. It made him feel as if he was facing a celestial realm expert who could mobilize the power of heaven and earth to crush everything. Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. He did not hold back in that punch, but he did not expect Zhao Ritian, who looked like he was only at the 6th level of the Grandmaster realm, to be able to block his punch without suffering any serious injuries. Is it that golden robe? It's actually a Dao artifact. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at the golden robe on Zhao Ritian's body. There were faint runes spreading out, as if there was a mysterious resonance with the surrounding heaven and earth. This was the power of a Dao artifact. It was intertwined with the will of heaven and earth, possessing a mysterious power. Ling Xiao did not expect Zhao Ritian to be so rich. In the entire Great Barren Ancient Kingdom, only Xia Huang had a Dao artifact. Even in the holy land of the martial Dao, Dao artifacts were considered the most precious treasures of the sect. Second uncle, is there any way to kill Ling Xiao? He's too much of a bully. The 9 Heavens Spirit Disintegration Herb and the Thunder Silver Python's demonic core are mine. Why did he have to come at this time? He's too shameless and too hateful. Zhao Ritian roared in his heart and called out to the second uncle. Ritian, if I had not intimidated the Thunder Silver Python, I might have tried to suppress Ling Xiao. However, I have no other way now. Moreover, Ling Xiao is too strange. I can feel a sense of threat from him. If it's not necessary, it's best not to provoke him. The second uncle's old and weak voice sounded. Second uncle, aren't you omnipotent? Even you can't deal with this kid? Zhao Ritian said in disbelief. The second master sighed and said, Ritian, I'm only a soul now, and I don't have a physical body. I'm utterly unable to utilize any powerful abilities. Anyway, just don't provoke Ling Xiao. At most, we'll just give him the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissolving Herb and the Thunder Silver Python's demonic core. Where there's life, there's hope. There was a hint of pain and helplessness in his voice, but there was nothing he could do about it. Zhao Ritian's face instantly turned ugly. However, he didn't want to give up just like that. Ling Xiao, you're returning the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissipation Grass to me? I don't want the Thunder Silver Python's demonic core anymore, I'll give it to you. However, you must return the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissipation Grass to me. Zhao Ritian glared at Ling Xiao and said, unwilling to give up. Heavenly treasures belong to those who are fated to obtain them. You said that the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissolving Grass and the Thunder Silver Python's demonic core were yours, so they were yours? If you have the ability, you can call one of them and see if they agree. Get the hell out of here, or I won't hold back anymore. Ling Xiao looked at Zhao Ritian and smiled. To be honest, even though this Zhao Ritian was arrogant, haughty, and arrogant, Ling Xiao did not have any bad feelings towards him. Every time he saw Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian would be in for some bad luck. This was the second time they met, and he even gave the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissolving Grass and the Thunder Silver Python's demonic core to Ling Xiao. Hearing Ling Xiao's shameless words, Zhao Ritian trembled in anger. He looked at Ling Xiao with anger and helplessness. Ling Xiao, tell me. What do I have to do for you to return the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissolving Grass to me? No matter if it's spiritual crystals, weapons, demonic cores, or heavenly treasures, as long as you're willing to return the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissolving Grass to me, I'm willing to exchange it with you. Zhao Ritian felt like his heart was bleeding. To his dismay, he realized that he was no match for Ling Xiao. Even when the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissolving Grass was snatched away by him, he could only beg Ling Xiao to return it to him. Then I'm really sorry. The 9 Heavens Spirit Dissolving Grass is very useful to me. If there's nothing else, I won't keep you company. Ling Xiao said with a smile. After that, he flew out of the waterfall. Ling Xiao, you bastard! Zhao Ritian was so angry that he was about to cry. His eyes were red as he felt wronged. That was the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissolving Grass. As long as he could get his hands on the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissolving Grass, he would be able to completely form the pure Yang Primordial Spirit. By then, he would be able to awaken the holy body of the sun. He would be able to dominate the 8 Desolates region and conquer the world. However, this beautiful hope was cruelly snuffed out by Ling Xiao. No, I must get the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissolving Grass. Zhao Ritian gritted his teeth, flew out of the waterfall and chased after Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had effortlessly obtained the 9 Heavens Spirit Dissolving Grass and even gave him the Thunder Silver Python's demonic core. He was in a good mood. However, Ling Xiao realized that Zhao Ritian had also rushed out of the waterfall. He was riding on his unicorn and was chasing after him. Zhao Ritian, are you itching for a beating? Chapter 320. Swoosh. The great Baron Dragon's sword was like a dragon as it swept across the sky. It turned into a blazing rainbow as it headed towards the direction of the Changsun sect. Ling Xiao stood on the great Baron Dragon's sword as the wind around him blew. His black hair danced in the wind as a look of anticipation appeared in his eyes. He wondered how the Changsun sect was doing. Was Xue Wei doing well? Whenever he thought of that adorable figure, Ling Xiao would feel a sense of warmth in his heart. Perhaps only Xue Wei would not care if Ling Xiao was a good-for-nothing or a genius. She would stay by his side forever. Bachelor sage, look. Ling Feng's voice interrupted Ling Xiao's train of thought. Ling Xiao was slightly taken aback as he looked in the direction Ling Feng was pointing at. Behind the great Baron Dragon's sword, a blazing fire chariot was flying towards them at an extremely fast speed, following closely behind the great Baron Dragon's sword. On the fire chariot, Zhao Ritian was dressed in a golden robe. His gaze landed on Ling Xiao as he gritted his teeth. Ling Xiao did not know whether to laugh or cry. He did not expect this guy to be so persistent. However, the fire chariot was emitting an ancient rune aura. It was actually a powerful Dao artifact. Zhao Ritian had too many treasures on him that even Ling Xiao was surprised. This guy was simply a treasure trove. Young master, should we teach him a lesson? A cold glint flashed across Ling Feng's eyes. Ling Xiao waved his hand and said, don't bother about him. If he wants to follow, then let him follow. The great Baron Dragon's sword was extremely fast. After a few hours, it had crossed the fearsome Beast Mountain range and arrived at a vast land. In the distance, there was a towering mountain that pierced through the clouds. It was emitting an ancient and boundless aura. It was extremely majestic. That was the Changsun sect. Ling Xiao was shocked. They were finally back. The great bear and dragon sword quickly stopped at the foot of the Changsan mountain. The Changsan mountain was covered by the Changsan god's sealing array. Ling Xiao did not want to rush to the top of the mountain. He wanted to return to the Jin's pavilion to check on Shui Wei first. The eyes of Xia Huang and the others were filled with curiosity. Although they all knew about the longevity sect, other than Master Jiaomu, no one else had ever been to the longevity sect. Legend had it that this longevity sect was the holy land of martial arts that had dominated the war god continent 10,000 years ago. But there were also people who said that this longevity sect had only inherited some martial arts and was completely different from the longevity sect from 10,000 years ago. Ling Xiao, is this the Changsan sect? Xia Huang asked curiously. The longevity sect looked very ordinary. Although there were some palaces and pavilions on the mountain peak, they did not have the grandeur of the martial Dao holy lands. The longevity mountain was shrouded in clouds and mist. It looked calm and peaceful. Towering ancient trees stood in great numbers, verdant and elegant. That's right, this is the longevity sect. Let's go. Ling Xiao nodded and led Xia Huang and the others up the longevity mountain. Qing Qing, Xia Hongxiu, Li Ling, and Ling Feng were all very curious. How did such an ordinary-looking Changsan sect nurture a monster like Ling Xiao? At this moment, Ling Xiao's ears twitched. He heard the sound of fighting coming from the front. His eyes flashed and he quickly walked over. Ha ha ha. Do you admit defeat? As long as you say that Ling Xiao is trash, I'll let you go. In a forest, a young man in a red robe laughed coldly. His eyes were filled with arrogance and disdain. Under his feet was a young man in a black robe. He looked very handsome, but his face was very pale. There was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. His eyes were filled with anger and humiliation. He struggled to get up, but the genuine qi in his body was scattered by the young man in the red robe. His chest felt heavy and he felt like he was suffocating. The young man in the black robe was Deng Yalan. Behind Deng Yalan was a group of longevity sect disciples. But they did not dare to say anything. Behind the young man in the red robe, there were a few other young men in red robes. Each of them had a powerful aura and their faces were filled with arrogance. Because these young men in red robes were disciples of the Sun Moon Star sect, a martial Dao holy land. I'm not convinced. The saint is not trash. If the saint was here, none of you would be a match for him. Deng Yalan said with difficulty. His eyes were filled with anger. He had broken through to the first level of the Dragon Tiger realm and cultivated the guardian demon fist that Ling Xiao had taught him. His combat strength was very strong. However, the young man in the red robe who was stepping on him was too abnormal. He was also at the first level of the Dragon Tiger realm, but he could easily suppress him. The reason was that the young man in the red robe had already cultivated fist intent. Although Deng Yalan was on the verge of comprehending fist intent, he was still a little short. Who does Ling Xiao think he is? How dare he call himself the saint? If he dares to be here, senior brother Lu doesn't have to do anything. I can suppress him myself. What a small sect. You don't know anything. The young man in the red robe glanced at the young man with the highest cultivation behind him and smiled. Deng Yalan, I'll give you one more chance. Do you admit defeat? As long as you call Ling Xiao trash, I'll let you go. Otherwise, I'll kill you. A cold light flashed in the eyes of the young man in the red robe. The innate energy under his feet shone brightly and a murderous intent spread towards Deng Yalan. Deng Yalan shuddered. However, he stubbornly looked at the young man in the red robe without saying a word. Very well. Since you're so stubborn, don't blame me for being rude. The young man in the red robe smiled maliciously. The powerful innate energy under his feet exploded and he was about to kill Deng Yalan. Swoosh! At this moment, a cold figure flew across the sky like a black bolt of lightning. In an instant, a palm struck towards the young man in the red robe. Who is it? The young man in the red robe trembled. His eyes were filled with shock and anger. He did not expect that someone would dare to attack him. Boom! A monstrous divine force swept over, and the red-robed young man was instantly sent flying by the palm strike. He coughed out large mouthfuls of blood, and a powerful Xiantian Gang Qi wreaked havoc in his body, instantly destroying all his meridians and crippling his cultivation. A young man in a black robe appeared in the middle of the crowd. He was emitting a cold aura and his eyes were indifferent. No one dared to look him in the eyes and they all lowered their heads. It was Ling Feng. How dare you touch the disciples of the Changsun sect? Do you want to die? Ling Xiao walked over slowly from afar. Although there was a smile on his face, it was a cold smile. His eyes fell on the disciples of the Sun Moon Star sect. The saint? The saint is back. It's really the saint. That's great. Ha ha ha. These bastards dare to be arrogant. The saint will teach them a lesson. When the disciples of the Changsun sect saw Ling Xiao, they were shocked. Their eyes were filled with joy as they shouted. It's Ling Xiao. Chapter 321. Holy Sun, you're finally back. Deng Yalan struggled to get up from the ground, looking at Ling Xiao with eyes full of excitement. You're not bad, but you're much younger than him. His cultivation is only the same as yours. Don't be discouraged. Ling Xiao smiled and patted Deng Yalan's shoulder. Deng Yalan nodded emotionally and said, Holy Sun, they're all disciples of the Sun Moon Star sect. Let's just forget about it. Deng Yalan was a little worried. He knew Ling Xiao's character. Back then, he dared to challenge Deng Yalan and Deng Tianda when he was only in the channel opening realm. If Ling Xiao was impulsive and taught the disciples of the Sun Moon Star sect a lesson, it would be troublesome. After all, the Sun Moon Star sect was the ruler of the 8 Desolation region. The Changsun sect couldn't be compared to them at all. You crippled my junior brother's cultivation and you want to just let it go? Do you really think the Sun Moon Star sect is easy to bully? A cold voice was heard. Among the disciples of the Sun Moon Star sect, there was a very burly young man. He had a crew cut and looked very energetic. His skin was crystal clear and gave off a faint glow. His eyes were extremely bright, as if there were flames shooting out. His cultivation had reached the 6th level of the Master Realm, which was the highest among the disciples of the Sun Moon Star sect. The red-robed young man was injured by Ling Feng and his cultivation was crippled. Immediately, the disciples of the Sun Moon Star sect were furious. The burly young man looked at Ling Xiao with a cold gaze. He gave off an extremely powerful aura that pressed down on Ling Xiao and the others. The expressions of the Changsun sect's disciples changed drastically. Deng Yalan's expression turned serious as he whispered to Ling Xiao, Saint, this person is called Lu Yang. He's a disciple of the Sun God faction. Senior sister Nangong and senior brother Jian were defeated by him. You must be careful. Ling Xiao and Xia Huang didn't reveal their cultivation, so Deng Yalan didn't know Ling Xiao's current cultivation. However, Ling Xiao was only in the spirit transformation realm when he left the Changsun sect. No matter how strong he was now, he was probably only in the Dragon Tiger realm. He definitely couldn't be Lu Yang's opponent. Who do you think you are? Ling Xiao sneered and glanced at Lu Yang. This is my Changsun sect, not your Sun Moon Star sect. He humiliated my Changsun sect's disciple. Sparing his life is already a mercy. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as simple as crippling his cultivation. I would have taken his life. Bastard, how dare you disrespect senior brother Lu? Senior Lu, kill him. What dogs hit Holy Sun? Does he really think that the longevity sect is still the longevity sect from 10,000 years ago? The faces of the Sun Moon Star sect's disciples changed. They glared at Ling Xiao and scolded him. Lu Yang's gaze also turned cold as he said in a cold voice, "How arrogant. Since that's the case, let me see what qualifications you, the holy son of the longevity sect, have to be so arrogant." A sharp light flashed in Ling Feng's eyes, and he said to Ling Xiao, "Holy son, let me do it." "All right. After all, the Sun Moon Star sect and my Changsun sect have some ties. Let him live." Ling Xiao nodded. With the strength of Ling Feng's bloodline, he could even fight against a level 9 grandmaster. It was enough to deal with Lu Yang. "Let me live." "Ha ha ha." Lu Yang laughed out of anger. He did not expect Ling Xiao to look down on him. His eyes were filled with killing intent. "Brat, you'll only be courting death if you stick your head out. You better think carefully." Lu Yang looked at Ling Feng with a cold gaze. Although he did not know Ling Feng's cultivation, Ling Feng looked to be in his 20s. In this small Great Desolation ancient country, he would at most be a dragon-tiger realm expert. He was simply courting death. Cut the crap. If you don't attack now, you won't have the chance. Ling Feng's gaze was like a blade as he exuded a sharp aura. His battle intent rose. The guy in front of him was a disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect. Ling Feng also wanted to see who was stronger between him and the disciple of the martial arts sanctuary. "Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish." Lu Yang's eyes shone brightly as he unleashed his level 6 Grandmaster Realm cultivation. He stomped on the ground. Boom! The rocks under his feet shattered. Lu Yang was like an immemorial barbarian elephant as he threw a punch at Ling Feng. That powerful aura swept out, causing the expressions of the disciples of the Sun Moon Star sect to change drastically as they revealed worried looks. Lu Yang was a level 6 Grandmaster. No one in the entire Changsun sect was a match for him. The young man that Ling Xiao brought seemed arrogant, but how could he defeat Lu Yang? He would probably be defeated in the next moment. Only Ling Xiao's expression did not change. He was incomparably indifferent and calm. Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Pure Sun's spiritual master smiled. They knew Ling Feng's combat strength very well, so they knew the outcome of this battle. Relatively speaking, they were more curious about the Changsun Mountain. It looked ordinary from the outside, but when they entered the Changsun Mountain, they realized that the spiritual qi in the Changsun Mountain was extremely abundant. It had even turned into a thin mist. It was comparable to the blessed enclave of the martial Tao's sacred grounds. Li Ling's eyes also flashed as he looked towards the peak of the Longevity Mountain. He could feel a vast and expansive sword will from there. It grew and multiplied endlessly, filling up the heavens and the earth, causing him to feel somewhat agitated. The Changsun sect was indeed not simple. Seeing Lu Yang's punch, Ling Feng's eyes flashed. Innate qi gushed out of his body as he slashed down with his palm. Clang! Ling Feng's palm contained a domineering saber radiance. When it hit Lu Yang's fist, it was as if it had hit a metal rock. Sparks flew and a violent aura exploded. Both of them took a few steps back at the same time. Level 6 Grandmaster Realm? How is that possible? Lu Yang's eyes were filled with shock. He immediately sensed that Ling Feng's cultivation was at level 6 Grandmaster Realm, the same as him. How could there be such a demonic genius in the small Great Desolation ancient country? At the same time, Lu Yang saw Ling Xiao's calm expression from the corner of his eyes. If Ling Feng's cultivation was so abnormal, how powerful would Ling Xiao be if he could control Ling Feng? An ominous premonition flashed across Lu Yang's heart. Again. Ling Feng's eyes were filled with fighting spirit as he exuded a powerful aura. His saber essence filled the air. It was domineering and ancient, with an invincible aura that could split the heaven and earth. Clang! Ling Feng raised his arm and his palm radiated a blazing radiance. It was as if a snow-white divine saber had formed on his arm. He slashed across the sky at lightning speed. This was the 10th move of the Azura saber. Ling Feng had perfected the Azura saber skill. Coupled with his heavenly saber bloodline, he was able to unleash a power that even Ling Xiao was shocked by. Lu Yang's expression changed as he felt a strong sense of threat. Facing Ling Feng's saber light, he let out a loud roar. Instantly, a blazing heat wave swept out from his body, as if a blazing sun was slowly rising. 9 Sun Palm. Chapter 322. Is that the ultimate Earth-class martial skill, 9 Sun Palm? Senior brother Lu is going to win. The Sun Moon Star sect's disciple's eyes were filled with excitement as he hurriedly said. Ling Zhao's eyes flickered as well. He knew about the 9 Suns Palm martial art. It was known for its unparalleled ferocity and contained a divine power of extreme yang. If it was unleashed at full power, it was even stronger than the Vajra-subduing demon fist. However, although the 9 Sun Palm was powerful, Lu Yang had not mastered it to the complete realm and he was still lacking compared to Ling Feng. Rumble. The fist radiance and the saber radiance collided and the space rumbled. Boundless saber radiance swept out in all directions. The 9 dazzling suns in the sky destroyed all the saber radiance and pressed down on Ling Feng. I knew it. Ha ha ha. Senior brother Lu is going to win. A Sun Moon Star sect's disciple exclaimed. When they sensed Ling Feng's cultivation at the 6th level of the Grand Master realm, they were shocked and jealous. Ling Feng was younger than many of them, but his cultivation was stronger than theirs. It was a big blow to these disciples of the Holy Land who were usually high and mighty. Now that they saw that Ling Feng was about to be defeated, an indescribable sense of pleasure rose in their hearts. However, Ling Feng's expression did not change. He was still cold and indifferent. Rumble. The shattered saber radiance in the sky emitted a destructive aura. Ling Feng's saber essence was pure and powerful and it resonated with the destructive aura in the sky. A black saber radiance appeared above Ling Feng's head. The sharp aura sent chills down one's spine. Destruction slash. As Ling Feng's cold voice resounded, the saber radiance above his head moved instantly. Swoosh. It was as though a heavenly river had pierced through the sky. It was snow white and it was extremely fast. In an instant, it shattered the 9 Sun Palm that was formed by the 9 Sun Palm. The saber radiance vibrated and emitted a mysterious glow in the sky. It was like a white line that split the sky and broke through the darkness as it slashed down on Lu Yang. What? Lu Yang's expression changed drastically as he felt a fatal danger looming over him. His hair stood on end and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Ling Feng's saber had clearly been shattered by his 9 Sun Great Palm, but what was this saber light that had appeared in an instant? Lu Yang had no time to think. A dark golden light flashed in his hand as he punched out. Crack! Ling Feng's saber slashed apart Lu Yang's fist. His gaze was like steel as he slashed down on Lu Yang's fist. Instantly, resplendent runes flickered as blood splattered everywhere. Lu Yang looked as if he had been struck by lightning. His crimson robe was torn to shreds, and his face was extremely pale. He was sent dozens of meters away by Ling Feng's blade. His eyes were filled with fear. His palm was dripping with blood, and a sharp saber will permeated the air. Furthermore, the glove on his hand had dimmed, indicating that he had been severely injured. This fist glove was Lu Yang's only high-grade prized artifact. For it to suffer such heavy damage caused Lu Yang's heart to ache. At the same time, he rejoiced in his heart. If it weren't for the glove on his hand would have been chopped off by Ling Feng's saber. How could there be such a terrifying saber technique in this world? Encompassing the heaven and earth, destroying the heavens. His saber intent was unparalleled, and he was invincible. The scene was dead silent. This was especially so for the Sun Moon Star sect disciples. They were originally cheering, but at that moment, they felt as if their necks were being strangled. Their eyes were wide open, and they couldn't believe their eyes. Senior brother Lu was defeated. Defeated by an unknown young man. This made them feel as if they were in a dream. As for the Changsun sect disciples, after a short moment of shock, they began to cheer. Their eyes were filled with admiration as they looked at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's subordinate was already so powerful. How could their saint be weak? He would only be stronger. Now, I want to ask you one question. Are you convinced? Ling Xiao looked at Lu Yang, who was in disbelief. His expression was indifferent as he returned the question that they had asked Deng Yalan. Lu Yang's face revealed a trace of anger. However, his eyes were filled with fear as he looked at Ling Feng. Ling Xiao, what's there to be arrogant about? If you have the ability, fight me yourself. What's the point of having someone else do it for you? Lu Yang said loudly, putting up a strong front. Are you sure you want to fight me? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and there was a trace of radiance in them. Xia Huang and the rest had a strange look on their faces. Did water enter Lu Yang's brain? He couldn't even defeat Ling Feng, and he wanted to fight Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao's appearance was indeed very deceiving. His clothes were whiter than snow, and he had a slender figure. Although he was handsome, he didn't look like a 15 or 16-year-old youth. His smile was bright, and he didn't look like a powerful genius. Of course, if you fight me personally, I'll take it as my loss if I can't defeat you in 3 moves. Lu Yang's heart trembled when Ling Xiao looked at him. It was as if he was being stared at by a powerful beast. However, he wasn't willing to lose face like this, so he mustered up his courage and said. Even if this 15 or 16-year-old youth was strong, how strong could he be? Rumble. At this moment, a blazing flame war chariot came from afar, giving off an ancient and powerful aura. Zhao Ritian stood on the blazing flame war chariot, his golden robe flapping in the wind. He stood with his hands behind his back, looking arrogant. Senior brother Zhao, why are you here? Lu Yang and the others' eyes flashed, and they were instantly overjoyed as they hurriedly shouted. Whoosh! Zhao Ritian kept the blazing flame war chariot in his storage treasure, then jumped down from the sky and landed beside Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, what will it take for you to return the 9 heavens spirit dissolving herb to me? Zhao Ritian ignored Lu Yang and the rest. He walked up to Ling Xiao and tried his best to squeeze out a smile. Lu Yang and the other Sun Moon Star sect disciples were stunned. What's going on? How did Zhao Ritian get together with Ling Xiao? Senior brother Zhao, do you know Ling Xiao? He crippled Zhao Hai's cultivation and spoke rudely to our Sun Moon Star sect. Senior brother Zhao, please help us and let me teach this kid a lesson. Lu Yang cupped his hands and said respectfully to Zhao Ritian. Crippled Zhao Hai. He's a bastard to begin with. I'm not surprised at all. However, are you sure you want to fight him? Zhao Ritian glanced at the red-robed youth whose cultivation was crippled and looked at Lu Yang in surprise. I want to have a fair fight with him. Senior brother Zhao, is there a problem? Lu Yang was confused by Zhao Ritian's stare. Zhao Ritian glared at Lu Yang and said, I say, kid, are you out of your mind? Didn't senior sister Yueshan tell you? Even Shi Tianluo from the Myriad Beasts sect was defeated by Ling Xiao. Do you think you're stronger than Shi Tianluo? What? Shi Tianluo really lost to Ling Xiao. Chapter 323. Shi Tianluo was ranked 7th among the 10,000 Beasts' 7 disciples, but his potential was in the top 3. This was because he had the bloodline of the heavenly snake, and it was extremely pure. Therefore, he was very famous in the few martial arts sanctuaries. There were rumors that Ling Xiao had defeated Shi Tianluo when he was only in the Dragon Tiger realm. However, to Lu Yang and the rest, it was simply nonsense. Even the Sun God and Moon God, whom they worshipped, did not dare to say that they had defeated Shi Tianluo, who was in the Dragon Tiger realm. Who was Ling Xiao? However, now that Zhao Ritian said this, could it be that Ling Xiao had really defeated Shi Tianluo? Thinking of this, Lu Yang shuddered. No matter how arrogant he was, he would not dare to say that he could defeat Shi Tianluo. If what Zhao Ritian said was true, then he was really courting death. No wonder the group of people behind Ling Xiao looked at him as if he was an idiot. It turned out that he was really an idiot. Thinking of this, Lu Yang was embarrassed and angry. His face turned red, and he wanted to find a hole to hide in. When Deng Yalan heard this, he was also shocked. His eyes were filled with disbelief and surprise. It turned out that the rumor that Ling Xiao had defeated Shi Tianluo, who was in the Dragon Tiger realm, was true. How strong was Ling Xiao now? Deng Yalan and the other disciples of the Changsun sect looked at Ling Xiao with admiration. All right, Deng Yalan, bring me to the sect leader of the Changsun sect. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and looked at Deng Yalan. Ling Xiao planned to let Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Chunyang Zhenren meet Nangong Xian. After all, the three of them were considered to be in the noble realm. Ling Xiao would leave the Eight Desolates region sooner or later. When the time came, with the three of them looking after the Changsun sect, Ling Xiao could leave with peace of mind. Deng Yalan's expression changed. He stammered, "Saint, the sect leader is not in the Changsun sect." What happened? Ling Xiao's face darkened. From Deng Yalan's expression, he could tell that something had happened that he was unaware of. Deng Yalan glanced at Lu Yang and the others. He gritted his teeth and said, "Holy Sun, the sect leader is in the back mountain forbidden area. The sun god of the Sun Moon sect wants to enter the back mountain forbidden area. The sect leader has no choice but to make a bet with the sun god. As long as the sun god can break the formation of the back mountain forbidden area, he will be allowed to enter and cultivate." What? A sharp glint appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes as a powerful and cold aura emanated from his body. This caused Deng Yalan and the others to tremble as they revealed looks of reverence. Very good. Does the Sun Moon Star sect really think that our longevity gate can be trampled on by others? Today, I want to see what kind of person this so-called sun god is. Deng Yalan, lead the way. Ling Xiao's gaze was very cold, and there was a suppressed anger in his heart. The Path Understanding Tree in the Back Mountain Forbidden Area was the #1 spiritual root in the world. It was also the root of the Longevity Gate's rise. He could not afford to lose it. When Ling Xiao left, he used the Longevity God's sealing array to seal off the Back Mountain Forbidden Area. Ordinary people could not enter at all. Even if an expert of the Heaven Realm entered rashly, he would definitely die. However, at that time, Ling Xiao was only in the Spirit Transformation realm. The array that he set up was not at its peak, so he could not be sure that it could stop the Sun God. After all, the Sun God was rumored to be the #1 genius of the Sun Moon Star sect. He was peerless and unparalleled in the entire Eight Desolates region. He and the Moon God were known as the Sun Moon Prides. The Sun God must be an expert of the Heaven Realm. If Ling Xiao's guess was correct, the Sun God should be cultivating the Sun True technique of the Sun Moon Star sect, a heaven-level medium martial skill. If the Sun Moon Star sect discovered the existence of the Path Understanding Tree, the consequences would be unimaginable. Yes. Deng Yalan's eyes revealed a trace of excitement as he hurriedly led Ling Xiao to the Back Mountain Forbidden Area. My big brother is in the Longevity sect. Ling Xiao, I'm telling you, you'd better hurry up and return the 9 Heaven Spirit Dissipation Herb to me. Otherwise, my big brother will teach you a lesson. Zhao Ritian hurriedly followed behind, mumbling to Ling Xiao as they walked. The Sun God is your big brother? You two brothers' names are really strange. However, don't worry, if your big brother dares to mess around, even if he doesn't find trouble with me, I won't let him off. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a cold smile as his eyes blazed like lightning, containing a hint of coldness. You're definitely not my big brother's match, I promise. Although I don't like my big brother, he has already broken through to the Heaven Realm. He has also cultivated the Sun True technique to the Greater Mastery Realm. Once the Sun True technique is fully cultivated, he can cultivate the Sun Moon Star scripture of the Sun Moon Star sect. At that time, he will inherit the position of the sect master. He is many times stronger than Shi Tianluo. Zhao Ritian said slowly. There was a strange look in his eyes. The Sun Moon Star Scripture. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as the corner of his lips curled into a cold arc. The Sun Moon Star Scripture was passed down to Shen Guanming by Ling Xiao. How could he not know about such a supreme martial art? However, the Sun Moon Star sect had the Sun God, Moon God, and Star God bloodlines. It was rumored that the Star God bloodline had long been lost, and only the Sun God and Moon God bloodlines were left. The true Star Scripture probably no longer existed. Without the true Star Scripture of the Sun Moon Star Scripture, it would at most be a heaven upper grade martial art. Ling Xiao wanted to see if the current sect master of the Sun Moon Star sect still remembered the agreement back then. Back Mountain Forbidden Area. Nangong Xian and the Great Elder sat cross-legged in the Back Mountain Forbidden Area. In front of them was a bright and transparent enchantment that covered the entire valley. Rumble. The enchantment was dazzling and had mysterious runes flowing around it, giving off an ancient and mysterious aura. However, at this moment, there was a violent fluctuation, as if someone was attacking the enchantment from the outside, causing heaven and earth to rumble. Sect Master, although the Holy Sun's enchantment is strong, I'm afraid it won't be able to withstand the Sun God's attack. If he really breaks the enchantment, will we really let him enter the Back Mountain Forbidden Area? The Great Elder's hair and beard were all white, and his white robe was spotless. He looked like an immortal, but at this moment, there was a look of worry in his old eyes. Nangong Xian was dressed in green, and his face was as sharp as a knife. He was extraordinarily handsome, and his bright eyes were shining as if they could contain heaven and earth. He was very mysterious. We can't lose the Path Understanding Tree. The reason why I proposed this bet was to buy time. However, if the Moon God really breaks the enchantment, I won't let him touch the Path Understanding Tree even if I have to risk my life. Nangong Xian's aura was strong, and he was already at level 9 of the Grandmaster realm. In less than a year, he had broken through from level 1 to level 9 of the Grandmaster realm. It was shocking. However, Nangong Xian had inherited the true meaning of the Longevity Supreme Scripture and had been cultivating under the Path Understanding Tree. In addition to his years of accumulation, his cultivation speed could be said to be rapid. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.